Hello my friends and welcome back to Slay the Spire 2. Hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to show you how to beat Ascension 10 with the Necrobinder. I really enjoy this character and I think it's also quite strong and has a pretty smooth run through Ascension 10. Because not only do you have an excellent starting deck with very good cards and a good starting relic that makes some of the earlier fights a little bit easier, you have access to great defense and great offense throughout the game, and the easiest access in the game to a lot of infinite and pseudo-infinite combos. So when you get to the end game, you can often just win every fight in one turn. So I'm going to show you my approach to playing the Necrobinder and how you can beat Ascension 10 with it. Let's jump right in and take a look at our starting Neo buffs. So there's a couple options here. Lead Paperweight definitely does have some really high rolls that you can get by adding a really strong colorless card. Because the Necrobinder tends to focus very hard on specific class synergies, though, I think it is often less effective to take colorless cards for this character, though there are some that can be pretty good. Precise Scissors is always a great option. We would remove a strike here. Removing a strike is one of the ways that you can cycle into Bodyguard and Unleash faster, which of course is what this character is interested in. But I think I'm going to go with Leafy Poultice. Transforming a strike and a defend, there's some really high rolls that we can get. Losing 10 max HP, I don't doesn't bother me that much for this character. And we really want to remove strikes and defend, so transforming them is kind of like removing two of them. We also got two great cards here. So Borrowed Time is part of many of our infinite combos later on in the game, and anything that generates energy is good with anything that draws cards. And Dirge generates souls, which draw cards. So not only are these two cards that are pretty strong in a vacuum, they also synergize fairly well. So I'm very happy with that transform. Let's take a look at our run here. So I do want to correct one thing that I said in my previous Ascension 10 guide, which was that you start getting the harder basic enemy fights starting on floor 4. That's not actually true. You start getting them after your first 3 basic enemy fights. So your goal should be to delay your 4th hallway fight as long as possible when you're choosing your path. We don't actually have a lot of good options to do that, because if I were to take this right-hand side, we get one right here, which is going to be pretty dangerous. If I take this central path, then we get our 4th hallway fight here, and we're locked into that. Obviously, same if I were to branch off to the left, and this path is right out. So it looks like we kind of only have one option, which is to go to the left here, and then we can delay our 4th hallway fight for a while. But this path is also pretty bad because we would end up with just a string of basic fights here, which I really dislike. We do get a shop. I'm pretty unhappy with how this map is laid out, but we should still be able to make it work. I think that the play is going to be to go up the middle here, and then we can either go to this shop, or if we're feeling confident, we can take this elite fight, and then I can branch off to the right here, and we at least get a shop in the mid game. So I think that's going to be the play, but this is kind of a difficult map. Let me know what you would do in the comments. Here I can play Dirge, and that'll block all the incoming damage and set up a bunch of souls in the deck. I could also just play Bodyguard Unleash, and that would be a bunch of damage as well. I think I'm going to do that. So we'll go Bodyguard, we'll Unleash on this enemy because it won't have Thorns next turn. And then Dirge is only 2 less block than playing Defend, and also puts a soul in the deck, so I'm going to play the Dirge here. 8 damage incoming this turn, and I'm pretty glad I put a soul in the deck, because we can draw at least into another Defend. So we'll go Soul, and we can play a Defend to block some, or we have 12 incoming damage, excuse me. So we're always going to take a hit here, but at least we can prevent most of the damage. This was a rough shuffle for us as well, where we were not able to easily prevent any damage from this fight. And often on the Necrobinder, you can just take 0 damage in these early fights. So The fact that we had to take a hit here is definitely unfortunate, but you can't do anything about that. You just have to play with the cards that you are dealt. So we killed that enemy, and taking a look at our first shop, there's a couple pretty solid options here. I like Fetch a lot. It's just free. It cycles through the deck. Later on, it'll eventually get stuck if you are if you're cycling through a lot, because it only draws a card on the first card that gets played. But 3 damage and draw a card for 0 is totally fine. Full aggro, I'm not a huge fan of this card. It's only 1 more block than just playing 2 defends by default, and while yes, 4 of it is summon, you have to play them both at once, so it's much less modular. And Reeve I like a lot. Adding souls to the deck is always good, and one of the things that you're kind of looking out for in Slay the Spire in general is cards that are just strikes, but better for the early game, just to give you enough damage density to win those fights quickly. So I think it's between Fetch and Reeve here. I'm going to take Fetch because it's free, and so that's always going to be pretty good. Another really difficult setup for us, actually, where we're guaranteed to take damage. Usually the Corpse Slugs don't both attack on the first turn. But just playing all of my cards here, and then I can go Bodyguard, Unleash for 12, and Strike, and I could stun the Corpse Slug. I could also play Defend and Unleash on the low health one, and that way we're more likely to be able to both kill it and deal damage to the other one on the turn that it's stunned. We also still have Ascender's Bane in the deck, so I think what we're going to do is we'll block all the incoming damage, and then we'll put this enemy to 3. And the reason for that is that when you kill the Corpse Slug, they get stunned, but also gain additional strength. So I really don't want to have this one still at full health after we kill the other one. We want to be able to kill it in 2 turns. So here we can go Unleash, Strike, and Dirge, putting it down to 14. And then on this turn, I will play the Soul, and we can draw into nothing. I could have known that. I could have looked at my draw pile. But we can play Bodyguard, and then we're blocking most of the damage. And with Defend and Defend, we're blocking all of the damage. And then I'll play Borrowed Time and play a Strike, and then the enemy's at 8. So we should be able to roll into a way to kill it on the following turn. And there we go. So a couple kind of rough fights, but we have made it through. All right, so here's another couple cards that I am big fans of. Drain Power and Grave Warden, I think, are 2 of the best commons for this character. Grave Warden gives you block and shuffles a soul in, which is progressing your game plan significantly. Drain Power, this character wants to draw through its deck constantly, and being able to just upgrade your whole deck while also playing a 1-cost 10 damage card is really powerful. But I think the first Grave Warden is so important to this character that I'm almost always going to take it. The Doors of Light and Dark. We could upgrade 2 random cards or remove 1 card. Now, removing a card is very valuable. It's going to let us draw into our better cards faster. But we're really early in the game. Pretty much any upgrade here is going to be relevant. Obviously, there's some high rolls. If we upgrade Borrowed Time, if we upgrade Grave Warden, then we're very happy. Upgrade Dirge is really good, and Bodyguard and Unleash. But even upgrades on Strikes or Defends are very relevant at this point in the game. So while usually I love removing cards from the deck, we're early enough and we have a hard enough path ahead of us that I think we're going to take the upgrades, which we're giving ourselves just a little bit more tempo. I do want to keep my money for the shop, so again, we'll just do a random card upgrade, and we'll upgrade a Defend. And now I've upgraded Borrowed Time, Defend, and... Wait, what was our last upgrade? Actually, wait, what did I upgrade? Strike, there we go. I just... my brain skips strikes because they're so useless to this character. I just didn't see it at all. Okay, so we have 9 damage incoming, so we can set up Grave Warden and Defend. No need to play Borrowed Time here, but we're just going to block all of the incoming damage. we're weak. Something to know about the Grave Warden is that while our attacks are affected by weakness, Osti's attacks are not affected by us being weakened or having our strength decreased. So when I play Fetch here, it's still going to do the full damage. Bodyguard Defend, because I need to block all the incoming damage, and then I could do Unleash, but I think I'll just play Dirge. We'll keep increasing Osti's health for future turns, and Shuffling Souls in is, again, progressing our game plan. And then we'll play Defend, Defend, and Unleash for 10. If fights are stalling out, if they're going long, when you're playing the Necrobinder, you're winning them. Because you're constantly going to be gaining health on Osti, which not only means that for future turns you're stronger and have more block and everything, it also means that you have a stronger Unleash when you roll into it. Do I want to play Bodyguard and Strike or extra uses of Summon or extra uses of Dirge? I think I do want to play the Bodyguard. But 4 damage from Strike I don't think is super relevant, so I'm just going to Dirge 3 times, get 3 souls in the deck. Sure, we'll start with Fetch here, and then I have a bunch of souls, so we're going to draw into kind of the perfect hand, whatever we decide that looks like, and in fact it looks like Unleash for 26 winning the fight. Alright, so here I am going to take a Drain Power. I already have I already have a couple ways to deal damage in the form of Unleash, but I do want to add a little bit more damage to the deck. I want to add cards that are strikes but better, strike pluses. And Drain Power will again roll through upgrading all my cards, so it's a very relevant card to add. Now here we get a hallway fight from the difficult pool of enemies, so we're probably going to take damage. We got the Living Fog also. This is like the extreme worst case scenario. Living Fog is absolutely brutal when you face it, so because it prevents you from playing multiple skills in a turn, and it has a summon. So I'm going to use my potion here because I need to do some damage to it, and that way, at least we do 18 to it, and then I'll play the Defend. We'll keep Borrowed Time. I don't need to play it here. Oh, maybe I should have played it just for 1 more health on Osti, actually. This turn, I can play Grave Warden as my only skill, and then I can play Drain Power and Strike. Yeah, I definitely... that was a big error, actually. I extremely should have played... Should have played my Borrowed Time that turn, because it's a skill. We'll only be able to play one of them, because this enemy puts the Smoggy effect on us, where we can only play 1 skill per turn. So Borrowed Time is going to be completely useless in future turns. So a big error there. Play Fetch, drawing into another card, and then Dirge I don't really want to play, because souls are pretty bad for us. They clog up our deck. I think our only skill this turn is going to be a soul, though, because I really need to draw into more damage. And I think using the Vulnerability Potion meant that we got through the Living Fog fight without too much difficulty. But I really dislike that enemy. I think it is way too strong for just a basic fight in the early game. Costing you a potion is just always so bad. Alright, so here, I'd like Putrefy a lot. Being able to apply weakness and vulnerable to an enemy for multiple turns, it also upgrades to do 3 turns of weakness, which is really good. No Escape can be pretty nice as well. Starting to apply Doom can be very powerful. And Enfeebling Touch, I find that this is not that good. It is a pretty nice blocking card, and it's ethereal, so if you don't want it, you can get it out of the deck. But because it only affects 1 enemy, there are often turns where it's just really awkward. So I'm going to take Putrefy here. I think that Putrefy is quite strong. I have 1 potion. Do I want to take a hallway fight, and then maybe Path to the Left to get this store? And go to the right and get this store, or do I want to take an elite and then Path to the Left to get the other store? I think I can fight the elite here. This is definitely not the elite that we wanted to face also, because this group of enemies, we don't have any AoE damage in our deck currently. So this is, again, kind of the worst case scenario, which has been happening a little bit this run, but we will be able to make do regardless. So I will play that. I think I do want to use Fortifier this turn, because I will be preventing a bunch of damage. We currently have 15 incoming damage, and so Fortifier will prevent 7 damage and also help conserve Osty's health. We'll be able to get him up to 2 health. And then I can play Strike and Unleash. What am I likely to draw next turn? So I have Grave Warden, I have Fetch, I have Borrowed Time as like very strong draws. And Drain Power could potentially upgrade some of these cards. I think that using Fortifier this turn makes sense, and I will play Putrefy on one of these enemies. The one that is buffing itself, and then I can play Strike for extra damage on it. And then this turn, I can play Fetch on this enemy, drawing a card. I can play Grave Warden, shuffling a soul into the deck. I can play Bodyguard, and then I think I do want to play the Defend, and we'll play Borrowed Time and Dirge. Because I, again, need to just prevent as much damage as possible. Basically, I need to boost Osty's health so that my Unleash actually does stuff, is the idea here. So now I will play a Soul. I want to play Drain Power before I shuffle, I think, so that I can redraw into the upgraded cards. And then I'm going to play a Soul here, and then hopefully we draw into some upgraded cards. Bodyguard is pretty good. Defend. I can't kill the enemy this turn. So let's start with another Soul and see what else we draw. Okay, so we got an Unleash. So I can kill this enemy before it attacks, even through its block now. So that's pretty important. So I'm going to do that because I don't have 13 damage from anything else. Unless I'm playing Drain Power and Strike this turn. If I Drain Power and Strike this enemy, then we will be able to kill it, and I can Unleash on something else. I have 4 energy this turn, so I can still play 2 blocks. So I can still play 1 block in addition to doing that. So I think that's going to be the play. So let's play Bodyguard. And I will Unleash on one of the higher health enemies, right? Because I'm doing Drain Power plus Strike. And so I want to play my Drain Power when it's going to hit Unleash Bodyguard as the 2 upgrades. So let's go ahead and hit this enemy, putting it down to 8. And then I'll play Borrowed Time, and then I'm going to play Drain Power and Strike to kill this enemy. Then we take a bunch of damage on Osty, but we're kind of conserving my own health, and we've gotten some good upgrades. That was a fairly complicated turn. I'm not 100% sure that I played it right, but it does feel like we did the right moves there. So now I can strike this enemy and kill it. I can play Grave Warden, blocking all the incoming damage. I'll, I guess, play Fetch on this one, and then I could play a Soul to try to draw into an attack here, or I could just play Dirge. I think it's fine to just play Dirge. Leave more Souls in the deck. So this actually, I was afraid of this elite, but we've actually ended up navigating it very well, such that we're taking very little damage from it. We've got 18 damage incoming. I'll start with a Soul. Then I want to play some stuff and then Drain Power to upgrade them, probably. But we're always playing Grave Warden. We're always playing Borrowed Time. I'm going to play a bunch of cards. And then I can go Defend. That blocks enough damage. And then I can play Drain Power on the lower health of the 2 enemies. Strike on the one that's not blocking. And we've also upgraded 2 more Defends. I really like how this character has a lot of really interesting sequencing puzzles like this. Let's start with a Soul. And then I can go Bodyguard plus Unleash to kill the high health enemy if I want, but killing the low health one prevents more damage regardless. I'll play Fetch, and then I think it's just Bodyguard Defend. And then this turn, I just redraw into Unleash, and we actually got, I think, a 0 damage fight against that elite, which is really exciting. The deck is coming together very well if we're able to do that. Alright, so do I want another Grave Warden? I currently have one, and some other ways to add souls in the form of dirges. Blight Strike, I don't think I need, because I already have Drain Power, and Pull Aggro I've already discussed. We also got Oddly Smooth Stone, which is a great relic for us. Just anything that adds block is nice for this character. I think one more Grave Warden is fine. We also, by the way, have the initial components of one of the easiest infinite loops for this deck. An upgraded Borrowed Time and an upgraded Grave Warden. The upgraded Grave Warden will put a soul in the deck, and then anything that costs 1 and draws 2 cards, usually Scourge, will let you infinitely loop through Grave Wardens and Borrowed Time. Obviously, up until the point where the Borrowed Time would kill you, and add Doom to the enemy with Scourge. So Scourge is the card that we're looking for the most at this point. I don't have to rest this turn, so I'm going to go ahead and upgrade one of my Grave Wardens. Upgrade Putrefy is also pretty good, because it gives you 3 turns of vulnerable. But upgrading Grave Warden is something we definitely want to do, so I'm just going to prioritize doing that. Then we'll go grab a relic here. Lantern, awesome. This might be, like, the best relic out there that you can just randomly find in a chest. Because extra energy on the first turn is so impactful, especially for a character like this that really has a setup turn that you want to do. So, I could go to the right, we would get event, and then an elite, and then a fight. But I think I want to go to the left. I do really need to take a shop at some point in Act 1, so we're going to go to the left here. A fairly tough fight, for sure. And we're definitely taking some damage this turn because of relatively weak draws. So let's go ahead and play Defend, because then I can upgrade it with my Drain Power. Putrefy exhausts, so we'll play that there, preventing 2 damage. Actually does... I can't remember if weakening a 9 attack enemy takes it down to 7 or 6. I think it's 7, but I might have been able to prevent 1 more damage. And then I'll hit this enemy here. So then we take 6. And you can see why, like, the hallway fights, I dislike them so much. I mean, just look at this fight, where we are taking way more damage than we just took against one of the hard elite fights for this deck. So I could stun the Corpse Slugs this turn by playing Strike. I'm always playing Bodyguard, and Unleash is 12 damage. So I think we're just going to play a Strike, killing this Corpse Slug. That stuns both of them. It does increase their strength, but by hitting this one again, we should be able to kill it next turn. Or block all the incoming damage, hopefully. So I'm going to go Grave Warden, and Defend, and then try to draw into 16 damage next turn, which we should be able to do if we just draw into Unleash. And since I put a bunch of souls in the deck, we're in good shape there. I could Grave Warden before I cast a soul to make my draws better. I think I will play the upgraded Grave Warden, and then we'll play the 3-draw soul. And then I'm going to play another soul because I'm looking for Bodyguard, if possible. Or Borrowed Time is also very good. Here I can fetch, and then I will Unleash, which kills this enemy. Now I can play Borrowed Time, play Drain Power on this one. It does have plus 10 strength, so I do need to kill it. And then I'll hit it with a Strike, and we'll play Dirge, which shuffles in a soul and gives me some more health to play with on Asti as well. And then we drew into Strike. So, other than the initial damage that we took, a fairly clean slug fight there. Alright, so we got another very key card for the deck. Either Seance or Cleanse lets us narrow our deck down immensely. And Seance is amazing. It's a 0-cost card that just lets us kind of remove all these strikes and the bad defends and everything, and just narrow the deck down to only the combo pieces. So we're going to go ahead and take Seance here. Then Given that I have Drain Power, which upgrades cards, maybe I don't need the upgrade as much. I could go take an event. I don't need to rest, I don't think. But I think I will, I'll go here and I'll just upgrade a card. It's always going to be good to upgrade a card, and we can upgrade Putrefy, which just makes us so much stronger against bosses. Then we'll go ahead and go to this standard enemy fight. And here you can see why Seance is so good. So we get to play it immediately and just remove a strike from the deck, and that just makes our draws vastly better already, and it costs nothing to do that. Then we'll play Grave Warden, Bodyguard, and Dirge. Oh yeah, I should also use my Fruit Juice here, giving us some more maximum health. Here I'm going to play Putrefy. We'll play a Soul, and I'll play, I guess, a Strike. And I could Soul into something, probably worth doing that. We'll play a couple Souls here, and then I can play Unleash and then Borrowed Time Drain Power to try to upgrade the Unleash. So I think that's pretty good. We'll play Unleash, Borrowed Time. I'll play Drain Power here. I don't want to upgrade either of my defends. The cards in the discard are better to upgrade. We upgraded Unleash Dirge, which is perfect. Also, the enemy only has 19 health this turn, and we're going to be able to kill it with Unleash, but I do want to sort of show off how we structure the deck in order to reach these combos. And we got Scourge, so Countdown I also like a lot, but I already talked about how this is the 3-card combo that Necrobinder uses to win. Grave Warden, Borrowed Time, and Scourge is basically an instant win for most encounters. Once you get them upgraded and once you've thinned your deck enough that you can just loop those 3 cards. So obviously we're going to take that. Then I'm going to go to the shop. I have 200 gold I want to spend, so I definitely want to get a shopping trip in at some point. Looking at these cards, Stratagem is pretty interesting. This could help with some combos. This could make our combo much faster, actually, with Stratagem. I could, like, reroll into Seance. I could ensure that we always draw Scourge or Borrowed Time as the top card of our deck. So that's an interesting one to buy. Negative Pulse I don't hate either. This is a card that just gives us a decent amount of block with our Oddly Smooth Stone and helps progress killing the enemy. Happy Flower I like a lot as well. Extra Energy is always excellent. And this buff persists across fights, so you can set it up so you have extra energy on the first turn as well. Regal Pillow I'm not a huge fan of. I think what we're going to do here, though, is I'm just going to remove a card. As the Necrobinder, removing cards is great. You just want to thin down to your combo. And I will buy Stratagem. I haven't tried this in the deck yet, so I'm interested to see how it performs. And obviously, I'm still doing Science. We're all still learning. The game's pretty new. And I think it is very good at supporting our main strategy. The other question is, do I want a Wisp or a Negative Pulse? I don't need a second Drain Power. I don't need Snap, I don't think. Don't need Page Storm. We don't have enough ethereal cards to make that good. I guess we've got the one Seance, which is not terrible, but I think I'm just going to pass on the rest of these cards. But this is another interesting inflection point in this shop. Let me know what you would do, given where we are in this shop. Alright, so these enemies, I think we're strong enough that we can definitely fight these enemies. I also really don't want to add an injury right before going into the Soulfish. And we have a rest stop ahead if I take too much damage. So I'm going to go ahead and fight the 2 punch constructs here. Start with Seance, and we'll remove a strike. If I play Putrefy, the weakness component won't go, but the vulnerable component will. So ideally, I'd like to put a debuff on the enemy before I play Putrefy. So let's start with Grave Warden, so I can maybe draw into the Soul, and then I'll play Fetch. And I got Drain Power with Fetch and Seance in the discard. So I'm going to definitely play the Defend and the Drain Power. Oh, if I was going to play Putrefy, which I think I'm not going to. But if I was going to play Putrefy, I should have played it before the Drain Power, obviously, for the extra damage from Vulnerable. So, sequencing error there. Let's start with a Soul here. And I can play... Definitely playing the Grave Warden. We're always going to take some damage this turn. We have 28 incoming damage, which is a ton. I'm going to play Scourge to try to draw into Borrowed Time. And we did draw into Borrowed Time, but obviously that seems lucky, but we had a bunch of souls in the deck as well, so there was a decent chance we were going to hit Borrowed Time. And then I can play everything in my hand this turn, so I'll play a Defend to try to block the most incoming damage. Do I want to play Unleash or a Dirge? Or an extra copy of Dirge? I think getting the Unleash damage, just trying to kill one of these faster is going to be better. We are probably going to have to use our campfire to rest, unfortunately. So Stratagem I could play here, because we're about to shuffle my draw pile. So I'm going to play Souls and do a reshuffle, and then I'm going to draw into Grave Warden with Stratagem, because that will block most of the incoming damage here. And then I can play Grave Warden plus... Do I want to Scourge? Bodyguard? I guess I'll play a Soul, because I'm hoping to draw into Borrowed Time. Maybe I should have taken Borrowed Time off of the Stratagem, actually. Alright, I was lucky enough to draw into Borrowed Time, but I think I could have sequenced that better to guarantee that. And then I'll play a Fetch on this enemy. Seance could cut... is there anything I really want to get rid of from the deck right now? Not really. I want to get rid of my Strikes and Defends, but Seance currently would just remove cards that I don't want to remove. Let's start with a Scourge and see what we draw into. And I've got 12 damage incoming, so I can go, for example, Drain Power plus Strike on this enemy. We would lose health on Osti, but we'd be able to kill one of the punch constructs this turn. Is that right? That would be 13 damage for 26 total? Yeah. So I think that's going to be the best here. And then last check, do I want to Seance anything? I could Seance... Unleash. I could Seance Grave Warden. I think I'm going to keep my Seance here. Or let the Seance disintegrate here. Keep all my other cards. So this turn, let's start with a Grave Warden first, because I want to put more souls in the deck, and then I'll do a shuffle. I'll then, I think, get Scourge, because I want to remove the artifact. And then I can play Scourge, I can play Fetch, and I can play Putrefy, keeping the enemy debuffed. 12 incoming damage this turn, so let's go ahead and play Grave Warden, Grave Warden. I guess doesn't really matter what we do. I'm not Borrowed Timing this turn, because there's no reason to. And then here I can play probably Scourge again, just to make sure that I'm actually getting Curse on the enemy. Let's go with Borrowed Time. I'm always going to play that. I'll play Scourge. I'll play Fetch. And I'll play Drain Power here. Getting the enemy down to 16. And then I will do some more drawing. I'll play Strike. And then we can play Grave Warden, and that'll kill it. So actually, we only took a little bit of damage in this fight. We got 2 potions, which is nice. This fight always gives you 2 potions. Neither of them are great potions for fighting the Soulfish, but the colorless potion might be good. Vambrace can be a pretty nice relic later, and then we get to add another card here. Is there anything that I want from this set of cards? I don't think so. This Blight Strike is somewhat tempting to speed up my kill on the Soulfish, but I think we're just gonna skip here. Stepped away for a minute, but we're back. So, I have the Soulfish boss coming up, and obviously I need to decide whether I'm resting or upgrading a card. I have Drain Power in the deck already. While I really do want to upgrade Scourge, we can upgrade with Drain Power. So it's not as imperative that I do that. I think I'm going to chicken out here and do a safety rest. Much as I want to get greedy, the Soulfish is a fairly difficult boss for us because it's going to junk up our deck with the status cards that it puts in it. And that's just going to make it a little bit harder for this character to function properly. We also have okay but not great potions here, so I think I'm going to be better off just taking the rest. And we'll be able to upgrade our Scourge and everything, either with Drain Power during the fight, or later on in later acts. Let's use our Colorless Potion. I think I'm always going to do this, so let's see what we get. And, okay, Retain, or Restlessness is pretty interesting. But I think I'm just going to take the Eternal Armor. Obviously, it's not great this turn, but it will prevent a lot of damage, and that's always going to be pretty nice to have. Given that we rolled into Eternal Armor, I probably could have done an upgrade instead of resting, but obviously that wasn't guaranteed. Then I'm going to Seance, and I'll remove this strike. I think on this turn I'm going to play Dirge instead of Bodyguard. We get 2 less health on Asti, but get to add a soul to the deck. So we're going to skip on Bodyguard, and we'll just play 4 copies of Dirge. We've got 2 Beckons here. Now, one thing that we do have going for us is Seance can let us remove those Beckons from the deck as well. Let's go with Grave Warden. That'll actually block all of the incoming damage because we have Vambrace. So I'm going to go Grave Warden. I do want to upgrade Unleash. Do I want to upgrade it more than the cards that are currently in the discard? I think so. So I'll play Unleash and then Drain Power. And one more quick anti-sneeze cut. I've had a bit of a cold this week, so I apologize for having to cut the videos sometimes for that, but better than destroying your eardrums, I think. Alright. So this turn we have 8 damage coming in. We'll definitely be playing Putrefy. I'm going to start with a Soul, though. And we did get a Beckon, which I obviously want to play. Now, I can lose some HP. We're going to heal at the end of the fight anyways, or the beginning of the next act anyways. So it's not that big a deal if I take 6 damage, but obviously we'd prefer to go into the next act with mostly full health. Let's start with one more Soul, and then I'm going to play Grave Warden as my blocking card to shuffle another Soul into the deck. I will play Putrefy. I'll play... I think I am going to... I'll play the fetch here. I think I am going to try to play Beckon this turn, so let me go with a Soul here. And then I'm going to play Borrowed Time, Beckon, Stratagem, and Scourge. We don't have a Beckon in the deck currently, so let's go with all of those cards. I could also play the Strike here. I'm always going to play Stratagem, and I'm going to go Borrowed Time here. So one thing that I could do, because I have Triple Soul in the deck, is I could cycle through and then redraw Borrowed Time with Stratagem. So that actually seems pretty good. So let's go with Soul into... I'll play the 2. The one that draws 2, just to trigger the redraw immediately. I could also go for Seance and remove one of the Beckons from my deck. That might be better, actually. So yeah, let's go with Seance here. I'll play Seance, and we'll remove this Beckon. Just get that out of the way. Then I'm going to replay this one, which I should have done before I reshuffled so that it was in the deck, in case I drew the other one. So Seance would always have a target. I just kind of changed plans in the middle there. And then let's go with... If I Scourge, I might draw into... No, I can't draw into Beckon, so I'll just Scourge here. And I guess I'll play Fetch because it's free. I could try to redraw into Borrowed Time there, but I think just keeping the density of souls in the deck really high is going to be the plan. And again, we'll go Grave Warden. Do I want to upgrade Unleash more than I want to upgrade the other cards? So if I play it now, I always hit Fetch and Scourge. I think guaranteeing hitting Scourge is really important. Right, I could upgrade souls, but upgrading Scourge is important, so I wanted to maximize the chances of doing that. And then here, Unleash will help the fight go a little faster. This turn, let's go with Grave Warden, which, of course, is enough block. Then I'll play a Soul here, and I'll roll into Seance, and then I can Seance away another Beckon. Then I'm going to play another Grave Warden, and I'll play Borrowed Time, play a Soul. I'm going to play Scourge, drawing into some more cards. Play Fetch, drawing into some more cards. We'll play Scourge here. And then I could play Unleash. I think I'll just go Bodyguard Unleash this turn. Oh no, the enemy is intangible this turn. So I'll just go Bodyguard and Dirge, which is better than Grave Warden, because it gives me more health on Asti for future turns. I'm vulnerable this turn. the perfect hand. This is, you might not like it, but this is what peak performance looks like. Let's draw 3 cards with our souls here. And then I don't have... I have Beckon in hand, so no point in searching up Seance. So let's search up Borrowed Time. And I'm going to play the Borrowed Time. I'm going to play Scourge, drawing a couple cards. I will then play... I could guarantee upgrading Unleash. I think I am going to play the Beckon here, because I always want to do that. And then let's guarantee upgrading the Unleash by playing Drain Power. Obviously, bad sequencing there. I should have played the Bodyguard before the Unleash. Poor play on my part that time, of course. And then this turn, I can play Grave Warden, Beckon, and I think just another Grave Warden. We'll take a little bit of damage on Asti, but that's why we've been building his health up so much. And then this turn, I have Fetch and Soul in deck, so I'm going to redraw first, and I'll search up Borrowed Time. And then I'm going to Seance, removing one of these Beckons. And then I'm going to play Fetch, because I get to draw for free. We'll play Grave Warden, because I'd always want to play at least one block card. And then I'm going to play a Soul here. Replay Borrowed Time. Play a Soul. I'll play Scourge. And then Unleashes 42 damage. And then I can block. And that's a 0 damage Soulfish fight. So, very clean. And even though it's adding junk to our deck, you can already see what the combo is going to be, where we loop through Souls, Borrowed Times, and Scourges in order to stack Infinite Doom on the enemies. Let's go ahead and add a card to the deck. And Neurosurge is a great way to get the deck rolling through. You do have to watch out when you're using Borrowed Time and Neurosurge, because you can end up with enough enough Doom that you're actually putting your health total at risk, especially because we have reduced our maximum health. But this card is just absurdly strong. 3 energy and 2 draw for 0 is amazing. So we're always going to take Neurosurge. If you see this card, you should almost always take it. And then we get to go to the next act. And we're back for Act 2. It's a couple hours later in real life, because I had a couple things to take care of, so I took a quick look at the deck just to remind myself what I had. And this deck is really strong for the end of Act 1. This run is, I would say, going quite well, so hopefully I don't mess it up. I also have my cat here now, so he can be my very own Asti and help us out. So, let's do what we've got from the Ancient. Enchant all strikes in your deck. They can cost 0 and gain Eternal. I definitely don't want that. I want to be able to remove my strikes. Remove 4 cards. And whenever you shuffle your draw pile, add a Soot into my draw pile. We're going to be shuffling our draw pile a lot, so we don't want that either. So we're kind of stuck just taking the Pumpkin Candle here. I think the Pumpkin Candle is pretty strong. It's a really nice tempo relic that can get you through Act 2 extremely easily. Because obviously just having an extra energy flat out for the entire act with no downsides is awesome. So we're definitely going to take that, and we will move on. I have 149 gold, and I don't remember what price our card removal was at. I think we've only removed 1 or 2, though, so we should be able to do a shop if I want to. Let's take a look at our path here. So in the later acts, it's after your first 2 hallway fights that the basic fights get more difficult. But it's much less of a concern trying to delay the more difficult fights, of course, because your deck is presumably a lot stronger by the time you get to this point, at least hopefully. So I still want to minimize the number of basic fights that we take, though. So I could go for this path, for example, and then we could do this, hit a shop. Then I have this kind of awkward path with 4 fights in a row, including 2 elites, which I'm not in love with. This path to the right here, there's no shop on it, but it's got a kind of smoother progression. I could also go for something like this. No, that's just too many fights in a row, I think. That's going to be 3 additional hallway fights, 2 hard ones, before we hit an elite. And we do get a shop if I go this way, though. So that's something that maybe I'm interested in. I don't like this middle path because, again, it's just 3 fights in a row. And I'm always just interested in minimizing the number of fights that we have. Although, let's see. So if I go up the middle here and go to this question mark, and then we could skip this shop. Or I could go down the center. Actually, I kind of like that. So this is 2 fights. Shop. Let me fix these drawings. 2 fights, we get this shop. We get 1 hard mode fight, and then a second one here if I do the elite. And then I can go up to here, do 1 more elite fight, and we get a shop. And of course, we're pretty strong in this act because we have the pumpkin candle, and our deck is already pretty good. So having sorted through all of those possible paths, we're going down the center. 13. Damage incoming this turn, and I have Dirge, which can provide some block. So I'm obviously going to start with Defend, and do I want to play... I definitely want to play at least 1 Strike. It's the maximum damage that you can do in a turn to these enemies, so any 9 damage attack is usually going to be pretty good. I'll hit the one that's buffing, and then if I Unleash, unfortunately, it doesn't quite get it. I could to within 1 hit, because it would have 10 health and can only take 9 damage at a time. I could play Dirge, then Borrowed Time, then Unleash, but I think it's still better just to play Unleash, Borrowed Time, and Dirge, and we get to add 4 souls to the deck and set up pretty well for future turns. Also, obviously, Ostia now has a lot of health. So here I can Scourge this enemy, and that'll kill it, so I just need to block enough damage. So Grave Warden is going to be pretty good. Let's start with a fetch on this enemy. I'll play Soul here. I'll Seance, and we can remove... I'd rather remove a strike than the Ascender's Bane, which will just remove itself. So this will block 11 damage, and then I'm going to Putrefy this enemy, weakening it, and then the Defend will block all the remaining damage. So then I can play Scourge, and I can play Defend. I don't get to play Stratagem this turn, but we get to conserve as much Ostia health as possible, set up Weaken on this enemy, and kill one of the enemies that's already buffed itself. Let's start with Neurosurge, drawing some cards, and then I will play the upgraded Soul. Play Grave Warden here, and I can Drain Power for 9 damage. That sets this enemy to 13, which is kind of nice, because if I draw into Scourge, then we... can kill it, and I can... No, I don't have Stratagem, so I'm not going to be able to... I'm not going to be able to search for a card. But I can do this. I can play Bodyguard. I can play another Soul, trying to roll into something that I want to upgrade with Drain Power. I'll go ahead and Seance a Defend out of the deck. Drain Power now. And then I will Strike. And then I can just play a Defend, play a Soul... and that's actually fine. We've done enough for this turn. I could keep the turn going if I wanted to, but basically I'm just trying to minimize the real life time that I spend on this, since we're not taking any damage anyways. Alright, none of these attacks do anything particularly good for us, so we're just going to go ahead and skip that. And then we decided we were going to the left here to hit this shop. This turn, I do need some block because oh, right, we have Vambrace. So this is going to block all of the incoming damage, or most of it. So let's start with Fetch on this one. We want to kill it first. I did draw into basically every attack in the deck, so it looks like I'm going to take some damage this turn. Unless, can I kill the enemy this turn? We can. Alright, so that's fine. So we'll take 16, or we'll block 16, stunning this Bullbug. And then I already have a couple things I can upgrade. $12 more damage incoming from this enemy, and I guess I'll Seance to defend out of the deck. Slightly better to do it in that order. But I should be able to kill it this turn, I think. Especially if I play Stratagem first. Because I have so much energy, I can play a Soul, and I can search for Unleash. And then we can go 25 damage here. Play a Soul, play a Strike, and end that fight as well. And then we get a block potion. Pretty nice for if we are in trouble at any point. Okay, so Haunt is kind of interesting. It can speed up the kills that this deck gets. So when we're looping souls, Haunt is just a lot of bonus damage. Reeve is another way to add upgraded souls to the deck, but we already have 2 Grave Wardens, and I plan to upgrade one of those, and we have Dirge as well. So I don't think we need the Reeve. I think we're just going to take Haunt, basically just to speed up our kills and make it a little safer in fights where going long is dangerous. In this shop, there are a couple cards that I'm interested in as well. I don't think I need a second Stratagem. I don't think I need a second Dirge. Rolling Boulder I might take, actually, if we had the money for it. But as is, I think what I'm going to do here is just remove a strike. Removing a strike just makes the deck significantly stronger. Do I want an Afterlife? It exhausts itself, and it is a decent early blocking card that gives value later. I think not. I think, again, for this deck, we're strong enough that we really just want to keep the deck as thin as possible so that we can draw into our most powerful cards as quickly as we can. All right, so here, as you can see, we get an enemy from the more difficult enemy pool. It is a little unfortunate that I have to waste the Vambrace in order to play Grave Warden this turn, but I think it is still worth it to get a soul in the deck. And then here, I need to... the Paraphrite will regenerate every turn, but if you don't kill it, it continuously does damage and also gets stronger. So there's kind of a balancing act when you're playing with this enemy. Let's play Grave Warden first, and then I'll Neurosurge, potentially drawing into one of the souls. I didn't, but I can go Bodyguard. Unleash for 13 is not terrible. I could Putrefy, and then Unleash would do 19 damage, I believe. 50% of 13, which is 6.5. I'm actually not sure which direction it rounds there, but either way, it doesn't kill the Paraphrite. So I'm going to go ahead and Putrefy the main enemy, and then I'll hit it with Fetch for a little bit of extra damage. We'll play our Soul here, and I have Defend. That's enough block if I want to do that. So let's start with a Scourge on the main enemy. I'll Seance. Let me check and make sure there's something I want to remove. Yeah, I'm reasonably happy removing Drain Power at this point. We'll play our Defend, and I'll play an Unleash. And I'm just going to hit the main enemy here, and then we'll spend our last energy playing Dirge. Because we're pretty strong, I think my strategy in this Paraphrite fight is going to be to mostly ignore the small enemy, but I might try to like one-shot it with an Unleash at some point, just to reset its strength and you know, take less damage if we need to. I'm going to play Stratagem here, and then I can play this Soul. I'm playing the small one because we trigger a reshuffle, which means I can search for a card with Stratagem. And the card that I'm going to search for here, I think, is Seance, because I want to clean up the deck. So I'm going to play Seance, and I'll remove this weaker Defend. I'll play Haunt, because that can definitely give us some extra damage, and then I'm going to play the larger Soul, I have an Unleash, so I could clear this enemy if I need to. I'll play the... which I guess I will do, so that when I play the smaller soul, the damage loss isn't wasted. And then Grave Warden is almost enough block. I could go Bodyguard as well. Let's go Grave Warden, Borrowed Time, Bodyguard, and Dirge. Get some more souls in the deck. This enemy is going to come back, but that's fine. And then here I can go with, let's start with Grave Warden. We'll play a soul. I will fetch, drawing into a card. I'll play another one of the upgraded souls, which triggers a reshuffle. And then here, what do I want to draw into? Probably just Borrowed Time. We have a lot of card draw, so making sure that I can play all my cards is really important. We'll play Bodyguard. I can Unleash on the enemy for a ton of damage, so let's go ahead and do that. Play a Scourge. It's at 26 Doom currently. I guess I'll play Fetch because it's free. I'll play a Soul here. I can always kill the Paraphrite with my Strike. Borrowed Time is in the reshuffle, and we don't have any souls left in the deck, so I won't be able to... Or no, I could potentially draw into Borrowed Time if I play Grave Warden first, and then play Soul. And then if I have a 50-50 of drawing an upgraded soul here, and being able to draw into my Borrowed Time, I actually will Seance in order to get rid of the Grave Warden here. And then I'll play a Soul. At this point, it's kind of academic, but we do get to trigger the reshuffle, and then I can Unleash and win the fight. And then I need to skip a card here. None of these cards are anything that we're interested in. Do I want the Skill Potion? Yeah, it's definitely better than the Fire Potion for me. So we're going to go ahead and skip the loot and go to the next area. Going to the left here. Oh, dang, we got a fight. I was hoping for a good event rather than a fight, of course, but obviously sometimes you roll into fights. So let's go with Grave Warden. I can drain power to upgrade it, so I'll go Grave Warden, Scourge, because those are the two cards I want to upgrade. And then I'll play Stratagem. And then here we have left in the deck a bunch of stuff that I'm happy to Seance out. So I'll Seance out Ascender's Bane. Might as well just get rid of it now. And I can play my Soul here. I can play Putrefy on this enemy, Bodyguard, and Strike. No need to play anything else. 15 incoming damage this turn. Let's start with our Neurosurge. I'll Grave Warden to put another soul back in the pool and play Haunt. And then I will play the soul, and the enemy is going to lose health. What do I want to redraw into? Probably just a Borrowed Time again. And then I can Seance to remove one of my defends. And we're getting close to the point where my deck is going to be able to infinitely loop if necessary. We don't need the full loop currently, but we will get there sooner rather than later. And part of that is going to be playing the Scourge here, so I will just do that now. Play Grave Warden to shuffle a soul back in. I'll play a soul. We already have enough block, so I'm fine there. Play Borrowed Time. Play another soul and keep on drawing, and then play Bodyguard. Drain Power I'm going to put back in the deck, in part because I want to upgrade some cards, and in part because when we trigger the reshuffle, I'd like to remove Drain Power with my Seance. So I'm going to search for Seance here. Oh no, well, we hit Drain Power, but that's fine. I can use Seance. I'll just remove Fetch, because we can redraw into it, or Bodyguard. I think I'm going to keep Bodyguard just because it's going to make actually winning this fight a little bit faster. And then this turn, I will play a Grave Warden for more souls in the deck. Okay, so I should have searched for Scourge to keep the chain going, to keep drawing. Some mistakes there with storming off. Obviously, it doesn't matter at all, but with all of these decks, part of the process is learning the exact combos that you're going to go through in order to make the deck function. So that's always going to be something that you should be paying attention to as you play. So here I'll roll into some Grave Wardens, and then the enemy will die on its turn. Had to let the cat back out of my office, because, you know, cats. So our good luck charm is gone. Let's see what we've got here. I do like a Defy. I think Defy is a very strong card. It's already quite good just by default. It upgrades to apply 2 weak, which is really nice, because having enemies be weakened for multiple turns is really powerful, and it's ethereal, so at the point in the fight where you don't want it, you can just remove it. That being said, all of our upgrades are kind of spoken for, because I really need to upgrade my Scourge and my other Grave Warden at the very least, and Stratagem is a very good upgrade as well. So I don't think I want to add a card that isn't good until, or is okay, but not great until we upgrade it. So again, we're just going to skip. Again, on the Necrobinder, it's extremely important to stay disciplined with what cards you select, because this is such a combo-oriented class. You need to make sure that the cards that you're taking actually contribute to your plan. Alright, so here I'll go Grave Warden, Haunt, Bodyguard, and no need to Borrowed Time. We're taking 12, 19, 28. So I could use a skill potion or a block potion here to prevent some damage to Asti, but we have enough block total. So I'll just hit the high health enemy. And we'll kind of set up for our combo. And then this turn, we've got enough stuff into the deck that we should be in good shape already. So let's start with Neurosurge, gaining some extra energy. I'll play this Grave Warden, and I'll play a Soul here. I don't need to play the Stratagem until I'm going to reshuffle, so that's part of the consideration. Currently, it's Grave Warden and Bodyguard that I would be upgrading, and that's a pretty good set of upgrades. So I guess I will drain power and get those upgrades going. I can then play Fetch, drawing into a card. Now, I kind of stalled out here. I didn't draw into any more card draw. Fortunately, we should have enough block, I think, right? That's 9 block. We already have 9 is 18. So I have 16, 23, 32 damage incoming. And we have 9 current block, plus I can make 15 more. So I actually don't have enough block, so I'll probably use my block potion to conserve my health this turn. And let's go ahead and Seance, and we'll get rid of this Defend, and I'll play Stratagem, and I guess I might as well play Unleash. And normally, I do think you want to, if you're not sure whether you're going to be able to win the fight quickly here, you want to lower the health of one of them, preferentially, because if you take it out on a turn where it's going to do a lot of damage, that can buy you some space. So here, I'm going to Putrefy it. I'll play Scourge, applying some Doom to it. And we redraw into... I want to redraw into Borrowed Time to make sure that I have that available. I'll play the Borrowed Time. Play Fetch, dealing some damage to this enemy. I'll play a Soul here, drawing some cards. We'll play Grave Warden, shuffling in another Soul. I'm going to Seance out the Strike. Then, do I want to play Dirge before I play a Soul? I think not. I need the extra energy to be able to play my cards when I draw them. And then this turn, I don't have enough damage to be able to kill the Decimillipede this turn. So we have 12, 23, 31 damage incoming. But with all of this blocking, we should have more than enough to block. Kind of a slower setup than we've had in some previous fights. Just because of the order in which I drew cards, and maybe I needed to play my my cards a little bit differently. This is 18, so I'm going to kill it now so that when we play a Soul, our random damage doesn't go on the wrong enemy. So we'll go ahead, and also, is there something I want to upgrade? Yeah, I guess I'll play Drain Power first, because any of the cards that I upgrade are going to be pretty good, and we are triggering a reshuffle guaranteed. I have 2 Souls still in hand, so let's take a Borrowed Time here, and then I'll play Seance, and I'll get rid of this Defend. Then I will play a Borrowed Time to get it back in the deck. I'll play a Fetch to redraw. I'll play a Scourge, because if I draw into into Drain Power, then I really want to upgrade my Scourge. That's kind of the last missing piece for the full combo here. Then we'll redraw, and then I have enough block so I can play Drain Power. Upgrading Scourge, we're taking 16, and I could draw here. I could potentially trigger a reshuffle if I chain through a bunch of souls and then search up Borrowed Time again. I don't think I need to do that in particular, though. Killing that enemy. These two are now both coming back this coming turn. But let's go with Grave Warden. We'll play the upgraded soul, triggering a reshuffle, and we'll put Borrowed Time in hand. Then I'll play Borrowed Time, play Grave Warden. Play the upgraded soul. I'll play a fetch here, play a Grave Warden, play this soul, and I can now remove... I guess I don't need to remove Bodyguard, because I can just do, like, Drain Power, Unleash, and win the fight. But what we could do is remove Bodyguard, redraw a bunch until we only have Scourge, Borrowed Time, and a Grave Warden left in the deck, and that would let us apply Infinite Doom. So, at this point, we have Infinite if we want it. Well, pseudo-infinite, because we can't have more Doom than our HP, but close enough. But obviously, in this particular fight, the fight's over. We will, I think, often actually trigger the Ornamental Fan because we're cycling through our deck so much. And here, I do like Friendship a lot, so this costs me Strength, but that doesn't matter because the attacks that we're doing are not where we're doing damage. It's either Doom or a big Unleash from Asti, who doesn't suffer from the minus Strength. So I will take a Friendship here, and then I'm going to go to the next fight. Here, let's go with Haunt, Bodyguard, Defend, and then I'll Drain Power to upgrade. The Hunter-Killer enemy. The item that I want the most is the Bag of Preparation to draw 2 extra cards on the first turn. That would make all of these setup turns significantly easier to manage, and we wouldn't end up in a situation where we might be taking damage, like on this turn. So let's go with a Seance first, and I'll get rid of a Defend. And then I'll play a Grave Warden. Is it worth spending a skill potion to prevent, that would be, what, 4 damage? Because we currently have 15 total block. I don't think so. 4 damage for a potion, I think, is fine. So we'll just play my cards out here. This enemy also costs you Strength and Dexterity as you play cards, so you need to be a little bit careful about the order in which you play things. You want to play your blocking cards first if you're playing block. It matters a little less for this character because we often are just going to be trying to combo out anyways, and a lot of our block is actually health on Asti, which doesn't suffer from minus Dexterity. But let's play the Defend. I'll play a Soul here. I'll Putrefy the enemy for sure. I'll play another Soul, which is costing me some Dexterity. And then let me go Borrowed Time, Scourge, Neurosurge. Is there anything I want to play before I play the Neurosurge? Like I could get Fetch or Dirge back in the shuffle. I don't think I need to. And then let's search up. I currently have one way to draw with Fetch, so I could search up Borrowed Time, I could search up Scourge. I guess I'll take the Scourge here. And then I'll play the Grave Warden. Now we're blocking 18 damage. I'll play Scourge, drawing into another card. We did hit Borrowed Time, which is actually pretty useful. Let me go with the Fetch, just to draw a card. And I will play a Soul here. I'll play Borrowed Time first, and then I'll play a Soul. And then we have 0 block from any of these blocking cards. But we'll be able to block everything because we have the Dirge this turn. So I'll play Friendship here, and then I'll play the Dirge, putting a ton of souls in the deck. 14 more damage incoming this turn. I do actually want the Drain Power because I want to upgrade my Scourge. And Later, we'll be able to just seance that out, but in the current setup for the deck, we actually need to not seance it out. And so here, I think we're fairly likely to upgrade Scourge if I just play Drain Power. So I'm just going to do that. I missed, but that's okay. Then I will trigger this reshuffle. I'll put Borrowed Time in hand because I have 2 souls already. I will seance out this strike. I'll play a Scourge here. And Unleash is 21 damage, so that gets the enemy dead, and then I can just play Bodyguard and end the fight. But again, we could set up for an infinite combo if the fight were going longer. Capture Spirit, I really like this card. I don't think we need it in this iteration of the deck, because we already have lots of ways to put souls into the deck. But Capture Spirit is very good because it just adds so many powerful draws into your deck by adding a ton of souls. We're going to skip here, but that's a very good card that you should always be on the lookout for. Sure, I'll take a Bronze Scales. That's fine. I think this Relic is actually quietly quite good in Slay the Spire 2 because there's a lot of enemies with multi-attacks, and a lot of the fights are just damage races. Alright, so we'll just lose some HP and get some money here. And then I'm going to go to this campsite, and we're going to go ahead and smith, and now I'm going to smith Scourge, and now I don't need to use Drain Power to upgrade the Scourge in order to have my infinite combo live. So that just makes setting up everything quite a bit smoother. This turn, I'll go Seance, and I'll remove... Actually, not that much that I can profitably remove this turn. I guess I'll remove Drain Power. We don't really need it anymore. And then play my blocking cards. We're going to take a little bit of damage. Since I'm taking a bunch of damage here, I am going to use a skill potion. And yeah, alright. I'm fairly happy to just take a Grave Warden. And I'll play the strike because might as well. Just trying to prevent myself from taking any damage at this point, since our deck is so powerful. We'll play a Grave Warden here, and then I will play a Soul, trying to draw into some blocking cards. I'll play Neurosurge. And I'll play another Soul. Set up the Haunt for sure. And then I could play a Scourge. I could play Dirge and then Borrowed Time after. And that would make our deck mostly souls, because I would be spending 5 on the Dirge. So let's actually do that. So I'm shuffling a ton of souls into the deck, and then I'm playing Borrowed Time, then I'm playing Scourge to draw some cards. I also haven't hit the enemy with the Vital Spark yet. Something I really want them to do for this enemy, by the way, is showcase when the Vital Spark has been used in a given turn. Because if I attack it, I get energy back, but then the graphic is exactly the same, and it should really show whether you've activated that ability or not yet. I think I can keep the cycle going for a bit, though, so let's play a couple more cards here. And I want to get Stratagem going, and we're always going to be able to search for Borrowed Time when I trigger a reshuffle, which I guess I'll do with the Fetch here. And that way, I will always be able to play more cards, so it was totally fine to do it in that order. And then I'm going to... We have 18 incoming damage. I definitely want to get the Friendship set up, and I probably just play another Grave Warden here. I could try to draw for a reshuffle, but we don't have enough souls in the deck to make a reshuffle guaranteed. 30 incoming damage this turn. Let's go ahead and Seance a Defend out of the deck here. And then I'm going to go with a Soul. Play Grave Warden to shuffle in another one. Play a Soul here. And I'll play the free card. We'll search for Borrowed Time. I'll Seance the Defend out of the deck. Play Grave Warden, play Borrowed Time. We'll play a Scourge to try to draw into a Soul. We'll play a Grave Warden here. We'll play a Soul. Then I will play another one. I can Unleash for free if I want to. which means I'll set up Putrefy first, and then I'll Unleash, gaining the energy back. And then let's go ahead and play this. I'll play Fetch here. Reshuffle with our Soul. And we'll search again for Borrowed Time. I was hoping to roll into Seance because I want to remove more cards from the deck if possible. But I probably don't really need to. So let's play Borrowed Time. I'll play... Don't have my upgraded Grave Warden in hand, but it's still worth it just to play my Grave Warden here. And then we'll draw with a Soul. And then let's Seance and we'll remove Fetch, which we've already played this turn, so it's no longer going to be able to draw cards. We have the ability to go for a Soul here, play a Grave Warden, play the upgraded Grave Warden, play another Soul. And then... Do I have enough cards removed from my deck that I can infinite combo at this point? We're pretty close. I have, currently in the discard, I have 2 Grave Wardens. I just need to remove 1 Grave Warden and Seance, and then we can loop through the Scourge, and we have 8 cards in hand. So we should be basically able to infinite combo this turn. That said, it's probably faster just to go with Bodyguard and Unleash in order to win this fight, but just to show off the infinite combo, let's go with a Soul reshuffling. I'll take Borrowed Time here, replay the Borrowed Time, and then I'm going to... I have 2 cards total, so you can see I've got a Grave Warden here and a Borrowed Time, so we can play Scourge, increasing the enemy Doom, then we play Grave Warden, Borrowed Time, and then I just need some way to draw a card, and we can... keep reshuffling. Now, in this case, we don't have another card draw in hand, but as you continue to draw more cards, you're able to just get the infinite combo rolling. But that said, the fight is over here, so we're just going to end it. And sure, Juzu Bracelet, always nice. It prevents nasty surprises in question mark rooms. We're going to skip all these cards again. Do I want another elite fight? It means taking one more... We're taking this hallway fight, but not this one. So it's basically a question mark versus an elite. I think we're pretty happy to fight an elite. This turn, I have 817 incoming damage. I can prevent 4 of it just by putrefying one of the skeletons here. So let's go ahead and do that, and then I'll play Fetch on it, hoping to draw into some defensive cards, which we did. So we'll play Defend, Bodyguard, and I guess I'll drain power here, upgrading my cards. That thing goes to 1, and then that enemy also takes a bunch of damage. Here I can go Neurosurge to start with. Oh, I should have played Grave Warden first to shuffle in a Soul, actually. That was actually a fairly large error. Let's go with Scourge on this enemy. Now I don't need to hit that one. Then I can go with Seance, and we'll remove this Strike. I will play Haunt, I'll play Grave Warden, and I'll play just everything here. Do I have enough block? I don't, so I will play the Defend before the Dirge. This turn, I'm going to set up Stratagem, and then play a Soul, doing some damage, play a Soul, doing some more damage, and we can Stratagem. And just to speed things up, what's the fastest way? Probably Scourge. Just get this enemy with some Doom. And then I'll play Borrowed Time, I'll play Seance, I'll play Bodyguard, Unleash, Soul. Can we hit that one? We can't. But let's keep playing some blocks and some Souls. And there we go. Speed Potion can help prevent a bunch of damage on some turns. I already have 1 Putrefy, and Reap and Blight Strike are kind of small ball for what we're doing at this point, so we're going to pass on those, of course, and then we'll go fight this Elite. Now, this Elite will put junk in our deck, if we attack it, but we're mostly not planning to attack it. So that's another reason that I think that this character is so good, is you often get to ignore these effects that punish you for doing attacks or punish you for various actions that you might take, because the only thing that this deck wants to do is just loop the same cards over and over again. Now here I have 24 incoming damage and plenty of blocks, so let's just go Borrowed Time, and I guess I can play Defend. It's a little more block, but let's just play Dirge for 1,000,000 souls in the deck, and Asti can tank a couple hits, but this enemy hits us so many times. The the Bronze Scales is really shining in this fight as well. Let's go with a Drain Power here. I will accept 1 daze in order to upgrade a couple cards, and then I will play a Soul, and another one, and another one. We'll play Stratagem for sure. I'm going to play a Soul, play Haunt, so that playing all these souls is actually good for something. And we're not just kind of running in circles. I do want to roll into my Borrowed Time, so I'm going to keep playing some souls here until I trigger a reshuffle, which I can do with this fetch. No, because that'll put a daze in the deck. So I need to spend 1 more energy this turn. I guess we're going to go ahead and play Grave Warden, and I'll play a soul, trigger a reshuffle, put Borrowed Time in hand. And then I've got too many cards in hand, but that's okay. We can play Borrowed Time, and I'll play the Putrefy. I might as well get that out there. We'll play a soul here, play a Grave Warden, play another soul. Seance I can play, and I'll get rid of this Drain Power. And then incoming, I have 15 damage, which mostly doesn't matter. Let's just Scourge the enemy here, and I'll just pass. Here, we're going to search for Borrowed Time. Actually, I should have searched for Scourge, because apparently there wasn't enough card draw left in the deck. But let's Seance, we'll remove Defend. Borrowed Time, Grave Warden, and I think it is worth putting one for 42 damage, which almost ends the fight. It's worth putting a daze in the deck. Dirge upgraded, of course, makes upgraded souls, which is even better. And then here, I can go Scourge. Now the enemy is dying, so all I have to do is block enough incoming damage, which Asti will do, so we can just go ahead and end the turn. Amethyst Aubergine at this point, much less exciting, of course, than it would be to get this early. Okay, so Devour Life, this is an interesting option. This could help build up a ton. Basically, this is going to help us kill faster, because we're building up a ton of Asti health for a big Unleash, which is nice. It saves me some clicks. And there are turns where it could be pretty good defensively as well, so I'll take the Devour Life. I'm not sure if you're supposed to take that there, honestly, but I think it's fine. And then, what's our boss? Our boss is the big worm, which is a little dangerous, because we kill somewhat slowly in terms of number of turns. So we are going to have to play Frantic Escape, which will also junk up our deck quite a bit. But either way, resting won't help, because we would just be worried about getting eaten by the worm. I could play Devour Life upgrade, or I could upgrade Devour Life. I could upgrade my other Grave Warden to provide upgraded souls. Upgrade Stratagem makes it free. Upgrade Neurosurge is just 1 more energy, which, if it was more card draw, I would probably take it. Upgrade Dirge also makes it provide upgraded souls, which is pretty nice as well. So I'm not sure which upgrade is the most efficient here. I think I'll go with the upgraded Grave Warden. We play this every single time that we draw it, and that's a good heuristic to use for whether you should upgrade a card, is if you just play it every time you see it, it's probably worth upgrading. Let's go with a Seance, and we'll remove this Strike. I'm not going to use the attack potion here, because, I mean, I guess I could get an attack that exhausts, and that would be fine. I'll play Devour Life. I am going to waste my Vambrace trigger in order to play Grave Warden as well. The whole purpose of this deck is to make our future draws better. 18 incoming damage this turn, and we did... so we did get a little bit punished for wasting the Vambrace, because I didn't draw any, or I drew only one way to block damage. So I'm going to take some hits this turn. The question is, do I want to use the Speed Potion to prevent 5 damage? And let's use our Attack Potion. I might get something that that decreases its attack, like something that makes it weak or vulnerable. I didn't, but Severance I think is pretty good. It's going to let me draw into some defensive cards, so we'll play Severance here, because it immediately puts a soul in your hand. Do I want to play the Haunt before I play the soul? I think that's fine. Play another soul here. And another one. Drawing into every Frantic Escape. And then now we drew into a Grave Warden, so all of that drawing definitely worked out. And then I'll play this Defend, and I'll play the Friendship. And I'll pass the turn. Asti will take a couple hits. I do need to start playing some Frantic Escapes, because we're down to only 3 turns on those. But obviously we'll be able to do that at some point. And then here I'm going to Putrefy this enemy. I'll play Fetch, because I need to draw into something to help protect myself. We'll play a Soul here. I'll play Neurosurge. Actually, do I want to Drain Power first? Probably. There's a few cards that I'd be happy to upgrade. So let's Drain Power. I already have Stratagem in play. No, I don't have Stratagem in play. But I'll play Borrowed Time. So I can put it back in the shuffle for my reshuffle here. And then I'll play Neurosurge. Then I'm going to play Scourge, drawing a couple cards. I'll play this Grave Warden. I'll play Frantic Escape, because I definitely need to do that. I'll play Bodyguard. And Defend, and Unleash for some damage. And then we'll play a Dirge here. This turn, I'll start with the upgraded Soul. Drain Power could upgrade Bodyguard, Defend, Unleash, or Dirge. That's all fine, so we'll go ahead and play that. And we'll play a Soul. I could Seance, removing... I think I'm going to remove the Defend here. And then we'll play a Soul. We'll play Fetch. Play Grave Warden, play a Soul. I'm basically just redrawing into Borrowed Time. And then I'll play this Soul, play Borrowed Time, play another one, play Stratagem, finally get that into play. And then I've got not enough cards in hand, so let's play a Frantic Escape just to get that. Or I have not enough space in my hand. When we draw 3 cards and search for one, we're picking up 4 cards. So let's do the redraw. We'll pick up Borrowed Time. We'll play Borrowed Time. Play Grave Warden. And at this point, I need to start spending extra energy. But we'll play the Severance, and we'll play a Soul. Fetch no longer draws, which is kind of unfortunate. But let's play Unleash and a Frantic Escape. And we've kind of stalled out. We'll just play the Fetch for a little bit more damage. 18 incoming damage this turn. I'm going to Seance, and I'm going to remove the expensive Frantic Escape from the deck, because I don't really want that one. And then I'm going to Drain Power, I think, because there's still some other cards in there that I could upgrade profitably. We will then play a... Actually, maybe... No, I couldn't play the Dirge before the Drain Power. Play some Souls. Play some more Souls, and we'll play the unupgraded one here. And I'll search for Borrowed Time again. Play Borrowed Time. And let me go with another Soul here. Play a Grave Warden. Play Scourge. I could keep drawing by playing Severance, right? So we'll play Severance, and we'll play a Soul. And another one. Is Borrowed Time back in the deck? It is not currently. So let me just play Frantic Escape here. because there wasn't anything live that I was drawing to anyways. And then we can unleash, and then Asti has plenty of health to block the incoming damage, and that's another very easy boss fight. So while we didn't go infinite in that fight, we were on track to go infinite, and we went infinite enough that we won very easily. All right, so here I could take Domain. Obviously, that's pretty good because currently the pumpkin candle is what's carrying me in terms of extra energy, and being able to play this would be pretty nice. So I think I will take that. And then we will go to the next act. Oh, only one path out of here. Let's take a look at the Ancient. Gain 1 energy at the start of each turn. At the start of each combat, shuffle 3 Dazed into your draw pile. Now, this deck has a lot of draw, and does need energy to set up things like Friendship and Domain. So I think I will probably take the Blessed Antler. I do really like this card overall. Fur Coat is really good if you're worried about if you're worried about your deck, which I currently am not. And Glam is very strong if you need specific cards in order to win, or if you're looking to add a bunch of cards to your deck, which again I currently am not. So we're just going to take the Blessed Antler here. And so looking at this path, we're always, of course, going to be taking this fight. I could go to the left, hit a shop and an event, and then elite event. Or I could do 2 upgrades here, which is pretty nice. I kind of want to hit both of these shops if I can. So I don't hate this path. I think that one's pretty solid. Going here, we get 1 shop and then a second fight. And then I could branch back onto this path as well. So basically trading an elite fight for a regular fight. I'd prefer the elite fight, so we would go to the left if we were going to take that path. This central path, I think I like the left-hand side better anyways. So currently I'm still looking at this middle section. Going to the right here, we don't get a second shop, which given how much money I have, I do actually really want a second shop. So I think we're most likely going to be going with this path, and then we'll go to here. And then if I decide I don't need the second shop for whatever reason, I might branch off to the right, or I could branch off to the left after this elite. So that's going to be the plan. Let's go fight an enemy. Especially because I have the Juzu bracelet, so we aren't stuck fighting random enemies in the just normal rooms. I'm very incentivized to take as many just basic or as many events as possible and as few basic fights as possible. All right, so here I am kind of running into the problem that I put a bunch of garbage in the deck and now don't have enough just block, or, you know, not garbage, but a bunch of cards that don't directly affect the board, and don't have enough just defenses at this point. So that is an issue that I've kind of created. Maybe I took one too many cards like Domain and Devour Life and needed to not focus on stuff like that, because if I was drawing into something that wasn't Devour Life here, we'd much more easily be able to conserve our hit point total. So here I'm always going to take some damage. Is it worth using the Speed Potion to prevent 5 damage? Actually, it gets doubled, right? So I think it is because of the Vambrace. So it is worth using Speed Potion here, because we actually prevent quite a lot of damage by doing that. And then I only take 5. And then this turn I've drawn into my more powerful cards with card draw, so we're a little bit more likely to be able to not take any hits this turn. So let's go ahead and Putrefy, and then we're taking 28 incoming damage. Still a lot, and I only have 9 blocks, so because I drew into both of these dazes, we're actually taking some big hits. And this is why I really dislike these guys also eat your maximum health. So this is why I really dislike taking these early fights, and also why it's so important to stay disciplined and not put so many bad cards into your deck, or non-impactful cards into your deck. So, you know, there's a lesson there, of course. So we're taking 16 from this enemy. Let's go ahead and Borrowed Time. I'll Scourge this enemy as well. I'll play the Seance, and we'll get rid of this Strike. And then I will play the Dirge to try to block as much damage as possible yet again. which we did this time, and we killed one of the scrolls, and now I've drawn into a bunch of souls and everything, so we're in much better shape. But obviously we took some pretty severe damage going into this fight. Here, let's search for Borrowed Time, and then I'm just going to keep playing some souls, and some more souls, doing 10 damage at a time. I'll unleash killing this enemy. Play Drain Power, we'll play a soul, and I'll play another one of the low-level souls. I have a couple cards that are still worth drawing in the deck. Let's go with, I just need to basically just discard some stuff, so I'm going to play Seance, and we'll get rid of Fetch, even though it cycles. I'm just discarding Seance from my hand, basically. So that I can do some redrawing, and then we can just play a couple more souls and kill the enemy with our power. Alright, so here, nothing that I want here. I'm going to skip, and then we'll go to the left again. 53 maximum health does put me in kind of an awkward position with regards to my Borrowed Time and Neurosurge. That is a small enough health total that against some of the later game bosses, we could have to actually pay attention to our to how much Doom we're stacking up. Because this enemy gives us a setup turn, it's fine. We should be in very good shape in terms of fighting it. Although, again, I have not drawn into anything particularly strong here. So let's go ahead and use this, and we'll get rid of the strike. Play Stratagem, play Fetch, and hope that we draw into a defensive card, which we did, and then I can play Unleash. Basically, I just need more card draw in this deck at this point. That's the challenge that we're having. Play some Souls, and we will be able to chain through the deck quite a bit at this point, and now that we've gotten past the initial danger point, we're no longer at risk of taking damage, because I now have cycled through my dazes and have made the deck significantly stronger as well. I'll get the Friendship out there, I'll play a Soul here. Drain Power can upgrade a couple of cards, so I guess it's worth playing. We'll play another Soul, I'll play Borrowed Time, I'll play Devour Life, I'll play a Soul, play Haunt, play a Soul, and I'll search for Borrowed Time, which I will play, and then I'm going to play another Soul here. I'll get Domain set up, I'll get Bodyguard set up, play Scourge. I guess I could have cycled through looking for more card draw, but we can just win on this coming turn. And what am I searching for? Almost always Borrowed Time. Although in this case, it actually would have been better to search for card draw. We'll Seance a Defend out. I'll Borrowed Time. I'll Grave Warden, Fetch, Bodyguard, Defend, and Unleash and Dirge. So if I'd searched for Scourge there instead of Borrowed Time, I could have comboed off. Still, of course, I'm always going to be learning, and I'm never going to pretend that I'm not going to make sequencing errors and mistakes as I play through these runs. Here, I have a lot of souls in hand already, so I do want to search for Borrowed Time. And then I can Seance, removing this Defend. I can play the Borrowed Time. Play Drain Power, because I want to shuffle it back in so I can Seance it out again. Although in this case, we're just going to win before then anyways with an Unleash. Alright. Cleanse is the alternative to Seance. Since I have Seance, I don't think I really need the Cleanse. Dirge, another one, might be pretty decent, but I think I'm again going to skip adding cards to the deck, and then I'm going to go here to the shop. Sleight of Flesh can help us with much faster kills, because of course we're adding a lot of Doom. Permafrost is a way to offset the chance of drawing bad hands, because if I draw one of my powers, then that's always going to be at least 6 blocks, so it means a lot less damage that we're going to take. Let's go ahead and do a card removal. We'll remove this strike. And then I am pretty interested in the Permafrost and the Sleight of Flesh. I can't buy both of them. Miniature Tent is also not terrible. I do have 3 more rest sites coming up in this run if I want them. So even this late, the miniature tent could be good. It's basically going to be some extra HP and an extra card upgrade, because I do need to rest at least once at this point, so the miniature tent is sort of like a free card upgrade. But I think that the permafrost is going to matter more. Just being able to have setup turns that are less weak is going to be much more valuable for us. Here, I could do Nimble on one of my blocking cards, but I think let's just go ahead and do Swift on one of my powers. And although it's tempting to put it on Neurosurge because it costs 0, I think I would rather put it on a power that doesn't already draw a card to minimize the chance of failure. I could put it on Stratagem, which we could then enchant to cost 0. But which one of these am I going to play most often when I draw it? Probably Stratagem or Friendship. So let's just put it on the Stratagem, and that way, when we upgrade this card, if we do, it'll be a 0 cost draw too. Alright, so cards that I want to upgrade. I want to upgrade Stratagem. I want to upgrade Domain. I want to... I think that's basically it. Upgrade Dirge as well is still very good. So there's still definitely some upgrades I could do if I take the left-hand path, and obviously we need to rest in order to get my HP back as well. On the other hand, these relics are pretty tempting, and we would have enough money to remove another card at the shop, which would make my potential draws better. So I'm going to go to the right here. Also, there's a lot of relics that we could get that would be really excellent. Anything that draws extra cards at the start would be great for us. Let's go Borrowed Time, Putrefy. I'll play the Scourge on this enemy. I will Seance, removing, I guess, just one of the Dazes, because the Defend is probably going to be more useful here. And then I'll play Friendship and Dirge. And we'll take a little bit of damage this turn, right? No, I guess Ostia actually absorbed it all. Now all my cards are ethereal, which mostly doesn't matter for this deck. We're pretty happy to just have everything etherealize out of the deck. Like, for example, Drain Power. I could upgrade Seance and Dirge here. I could also just remove Drain Power from the deck, and that's just fine, really. Let's start with our Soul and see what we draw. Okay, we didn't draw anything particularly good, so I'll play Devour Life for sure. And then Defend. I'm taking some damage kind of no matter what. So we'll play Defend. I'll play... I guess I will play the Drain Power just because getting those upgrades is pretty good. I do wish that we'd gotten other Ancient upgrades, because part of the problem here is that the Blessed Antler is giving us more dead draws, which is definitely causing us some more difficulties than we would be having otherwise. So I'll play Grave Warden, I guess I'll play Haunt, and I'll play this Soul. Neurosurge I'm going to play as well. Play the Stratagem, because I do want that, and it draws us cards. I'll play another Soul, continuing to damage the enemy. I'll cycle through Fetch here. I'll play Grave Warden to shuffle more souls in, and I'll play another Soul. And another one, and then we get to do a reshuffle here. With 2 souls in the deck, I'm still going to take Borrowed Time. Now, it's only +1 energy, because it's been de-upgraded by the Magi Knight. Let's go ahead and Seance, removing this Defend. Play Borrowed Time, play a soul. Play a Grave Warden. I have 32, 43 incoming damage, so I definitely need to do a little bit more blocking. Play another soul here, and another one, and Domain I could play. So currently I have Grave Warden, Borrow Time, and if I play Scourge, I actually could get like the full combo online just by etherealizing everything else in the deck. So let's play Scourge here, and I could play Bodyguard Unleash, trying to kill this enemy. I could also try to play as much block as possible. I think we're not going to be able to play Domain effectively this turn. Let's start with a soul here. And I'll search up Borrowed Time again. Then I'll play the Borrowed Time. I now don't have any card draw left in hand. So basically I can play I have Grave Warden, Scourge, and Borrowed Time in the deck, so we will be able to loop those cards next turn if I kill the Magi Knight and can re-upgrade those cards, which obviously I will want to do. I'm going to play a Grave Warden here to try to block more incoming damage, because I still need 43 block. And then I could go Bodyguard and Unleash, which wouldn't be quite enough damage to kill the Spectral Knight this turn. But still gets us a lot closer, so I'll definitely do that. I'm happy letting the Dirge Etherealize, Fetch, and Drain power, so I'm going to play one of these Defends to maximize my block, and I think I'm pretty happy letting these 5 cards go. I could play Dirge to keep it in the deck if I want to, or Fetch. Neither of those are ones that I'm super invested in having in the deck, so we'll just let them all Etherealize. And then this turn, I could search up Borrowed Time, I can play it, I can play a Grave Warden. I could Seance something out, but I don't really want to here, so let's go with a Soul, play a Grave Warden, play a Scourge, which will make this enemy die on its turn. We have 12 damage incoming, so I have plenty of block here. I can play a Bodyguard and an Unleash on this enemy. Let me Unleash, because I do want to reshuffle that in. I'll play this Soul, and I'll redraw into, I guess, Scourge? Because if I redraw into Borrowed Time, I still need more card draw to be able to keep playing. But I think that's still better, because I'm going to be etherealizing some cards here, so I want to make sure I have the Grave Wardens and the Borrowed Time still in the deck. I'll let Seance time out here. So now we've sculpted our deck down to only 8 cards, which means that as soon as I kill the Magi Knight, we will be able to have a true, well, not quite a true infinite because of the Doom counting up, but pretty close to a true infinite. So I'll go with Scourge on this enemy, and I'll take Grave Warden. I'll play Grave Warden. I do need to be pretty careful about not dooming myself. Play Bodyguard here, and I'll Unleash. So now that enemy's going to be dying. Let's play a Soul, play Grave Warden, play a Soul here, and I'll get my Unleash back. Now this enemy I can kill with random damage, hopefully, if I play just 2 Souls. So I'm going to do that. I missed. I could Borrow Time and Unleash to kill something, and I probably have to, because while this does make my Doom tick up faster, we have 40 damage incoming, so obviously I have to block that. So sadly, I didn't want to waste a huge hit on the Magi Knight enemy, but I did have to do that there. And then here, let's go with Unleash, because I can go Bodyguard, Unleash, and then I can Scourge into Bodyguard, Unleash. And even though we were ticking up our Doom quite a bit, we win the fight anyways. Bag of Marbles doesn't really matter. That's a pretty irrelevant one. I don't think I need a second Friendship here. Parse I will take, though, because card draw is exactly what we currently need in this deck. And once we're going for our full loop, we can just let the Parse disintegrate. I definitely don't want the Debt, so I guess I'll pay 80 gold here, and can we get the full relic? I think not. Yeah, I think with 3 divinations you can never get the full relic. You need the upgraded one to get the relic. Let's go here, and we'll see what this relic is. Okay, Candelabra, certainly not bad. And I'm like almost always happier to take elite fights in Act 3 than any hallway fights. I think the elite fights are often easier, and so I'm just gonna take this one over the hallway fight. And obviously the rewards are better. So I have 31 health, of course. I do need to be aware of that. Let's start with Neurosurge. Actually, let's start with Grave Warden, blocking 22 damage. Then I'll Neurosurge. Then I'm going to play Stratagem here. And I'll play the Devour Life as well. Get some summoning going. I'll play a Soul. play a Grave Warden, play a Parse, play a Soul. Trying to just draw through my deck at this point. We'll play Fetch to redraw. I will play the Friendship. I have enough block. Let's play Putrefy. And I guess I'll play Dirge over the rest of these cards, because shuffling another Soul in the deck makes all of my draws better. 20 damage incoming from the enemy this turn, and I only have the one draw card. Is there something I want to remove? Yes. So I'll Seance. I guess I'll remove the Daze, because we do need to just keep all our draws live, and the Defend is more live at this point. I'll play Borrowed Time. I will play Scourge. Play Haunt before I play the Soul, because obviously I want to do that, and then I'll play another Soul, which lets me get a reshuffle. We'll reshuffle into... I need to shuffle into some more card draw, so let's go with Parse. We'll play the Grave Warden and play Parse. I'll play a Soul here. Seance could remove Dirge, which I no longer really need. Currently, I have only Fetch to draw cards, right? And I only have 11 block. But let's go Seance. I'll remove the Dirge. I'll draw a card with Fetch. And we'll kind of see what we get here. Okay, we drew into Scourge, so that will let us set up for a more powerful turn. We'll play Borrowed Time. I can play the Soul here. And I'll search for Parse again. Then I can play Grave Warden, making my draws more live, and we'll play Parse. Let's Seance the Fetch out of the deck here. Play anything I want to get into the shuffle here, like I could get Drain Power in, and that would upgrade, and then I could maybe Seance it out. So we'll play the Drain Power. Then I'll play a Soul here. I'll play Borrowed Time. I'll play another Soul. I'll search for Borrowed Time at this point, because I have a Soul and a Scourge in the deck. And I'll play the Borrowed Time, keeping a little bit of an eye on my Doom here. Play Grave Warden. Play Soul. I did redraw into Drain Power, so the Seance is a lot less useful here. I could play a bunch of cards this turn as well. Maybe it's cleaner to do it that way, like if I just played Domain, and I'll play Bodyguard, and I'll play another Grave Warden this turn, and then we'll pass one turn. I still have enough health to play with to use Borrowed Time a few times, which I will search for here. And then let's play the Borrowed Time. We'll play the Grave Warden. We'll play a Soul, play a Grave Warden, play a Soul. I do want the Drain Power back in the shuffle. Oh no, I etherealized my Seance. So I no longer have a way to remove cards from the deck. So that was actually probably a mistake, because I do want to keep removing cards. But let's actually change plans here a little bit. We're just going to go Bodyguard, Unleash a few times. So I'm going to play Bodyguard and Unleash. I'll play a Soul here. I'll search for my Unleash. Replay it for 50 damage. And then I'll play the Borrowed Time, 24. I'll play Grave Warden, Scourge. Or do I play... Yeah, Scourge just kind of guarantees that we win, because any Soul is an instant win. But I can also just search up Unleash and win the fight that way. So changing the loop in the middle, which is fine. Tiny Mailbox. I mean, I guess I am going to rest, so I'll get a random potion, and that's fine here. I actually like Deathbringer quite a lot in the earlier stages. AoE damage is something you can struggle with on the Necrobinder, so being able to apply weakness with that is pretty good. Let's go here, and I'm going to rest just because having a little bit more health to play with is something that we have really needed. And this shop should still be valuable, because I'll have like 120-ish gold when we get there, so we should be able to make good use of that. All right, so this turn, let's start with Parse. And I do need enough block that I can actually stop all the incoming damage, if possible. Now, we don't currently have a way to play Domain and block all the incoming damage. Because if I putrefy the enemy here as well, it's just going to remove the artifact, so that doesn't really do anything. I could Potion of Binding and putrefy. That would strip off the artifact, and then putrefy would weaken it. I think that's probably worth doing. And then with 22 incoming damage, I can just play Friendship and Dirge here. We lose Domain, but 5 energy a turn is pretty good. The bigger downside is not being able to draw as many cards, but I don't think that'll be a huge issue. I'm going to Seance, and we'll get rid of one of these Dazes, or the Drain Power. I suppose just one of the Dazes at this point. And then I'll play Fetch, see if we draw something good. I didn't, so I'll just play Bodyguard. This enemy does add burns to my hand, of course, which can be pretty dangerous as well. So let's go ahead and play that. We'll play the Soul here. I will play Haunt. I'll play Neurosurge, redrawing a couple cards. Play Grave Warden, play a Soul. Play Grave Warden, play Stratagem. We can redraw by drawing any 2 cards. So, guess I'll play Drain Power, because I wouldn't mind upgrading some cards here. I have very few cards in hand to work with, is the challenge for this turn, basically. Just trying to path around having all of these curses in the deck. So let's go ahead and just play Unleash, and then I will play my Soul here. And then I'll redraw into this Borrowed Time, replay the Borrowed Time, play a Scourge, play a Grave Warden and a Fetch. Seance, I can remove a Drain Power from the deck, because that's going to be our least important card at this point. Then I can play a Soul here, and do I want to play Bodyguard or another Grave Warden? I guess just another Grave Warden. There's definitely better loops that I could be doing here, so obviously you're always kind of making up the loops as you go along when you play this class. But it's always so much fun trying to figure out which ones you want. I'm going to search for Seance here, because I have a lot of card draw, and I really want to start removing some of these burns from the deck as well. Then I'll play the unupgraded Soul. We'll play Grave Warden. I will play a Borrowed Time, and now I need to be much less careful about my Borrowed Times. I think Bodyguard Unleash is good, though. I just want to start putting some damage on this enemy, and then we'll play a Soul here. Play another one. I'll play Fetch, just redrawing that. And then I will play another Soul. Play Grave Warden again. And then I'll play Parse. And that'll let me search up. Now, unfortunately, all the burns are in my hand, and I don't have an easy way to discard them. So I guess I'll just search up Borrowed Time here. I'll play the Borrowed Time. I'll play Scourge, play Grave Warden. We can start looping Unleashes as well. So I'll play the Unleash, play a Soul here. Do I want to Seance something? I guess I want to keep... I have 37 block. I'll play the Grave Warden. I guess I want to keep the Bodyguard in the deck, because looping Unleash is part of our faster kill. So I'll just play Fetch here, because it's free. Oh no, I needed to play Seance if I wanted to keep removing the burns. I keep forgetting that Seance etherealizes. Definitely a big error there. So I have 2 Souls in hand, so we'll take Borrowed Time. Play the Borrowed Time. I'm going to play Bodyguard again, because looping Unleashes is probably our plan A at this point. And then I'll do some damage to the enemy with that. I'll cycle here, play Grave Warden. Play Scourge just to accelerate the kill a bit. I'll play a Parse. Grave Warden again. We're going to get a reshuffle this turn, so I'll just play a defend here, and then a soul, and we'll search up borrowed time, which I will play. And then, what else do I want to play this turn? I could play another defend and another soul. And I'll play a bodyguard and a fetch. And I was hoping to redraw into Unleash to win this turn, but it doesn't really matter. We'll redraw into Unleash for this turn, and that will be more than good enough, because I'll just block all the incoming damage from the burns, and the enemy will die at the end of its turn. Weakness Potion is good. Blood Vial's pretty nice, actually. HP has been a challenge for us, so I'll take the Blood Vial. I'll skip all of these cards. I'll go to the shop here. And then I could remove a card. So is there something that I want to add to the deck? Restlessness. Our hand will never be empty. It's more about removing enough cards from the deck that we can draw everything. So the question is, do I want a Seance to make it faster to remove our cards? Or do I want to just do a card removal? And I think I'll do a card removal. And I'm going to remove this Drain Power. Yes, it can upgrade my Dirge or something along those lines, or Seance, which can turn into Soul Pluses. But most of the cards in my deck are fine unupgraded, so Drain Power is a lot less exciting at this point. And it's so frequently a dead card for us right now, like more than the Defend is. $12 damage incoming from these enemies, and of course they replace themselves. So this fight can go kind of long if you, depending on how it plays out exactly. I am gonna just play Putrefy on the one that's attacking. Here I'm going to Seance first, and I'll remove the Dazed, I suppose. Play Stratagem. Play Fetch on this enemy. We play Borrowed Time, but I just need to do Defend, so that's 15 plus 8, and then that's Asti. Will block enough damage, so do I want to use Stable Serum? I don't think so. The challenge here, of course, is that we're fragile, so I'm not able to generate as much block as I normally would be able to. Play the Soul here. I'll play the Grave Warden and shuffle that in. And I'll play Domain. 27 incoming damage. This is, interestingly, like, this endgame is a lot harder than I thought it would be, so that bespeaks probably just having taken too many powers. Like, I'm very much regretting this Devour Life. The Domain, I think, is fine, but the Devour Life has been very bad for me, basically every time I've drawn it. So that's something to pay attention to in terms of the mistakes that I've been making. That said, I am going to play the Devour Life this turn, because we're going to draw into a bunch of souls. So I'm going to play Devour Life. I'll play a soul. Again, at least a little bit of block. I'll search up Borrowed Time. Play Borrowed Time. Play Neurosurge. I could Seance something. Yeah, let's Seance this Fetch out of the deck, because I believe I've already used the Fetch this turn, so it's no longer going to redraw itself. 9 cards in hand, so I can play a Soul. So we'll start there. And then let me get this Friendship online. I can Unleash killing this enemy, and then I don't need to block as much, so we'll do that. A new one's going to get teleported in. With 20 block, I do want to redraw into more... I want to redraw into enough Borrowed Times that I can do, and Grave Wardens that I can do enough block that I still get to play Domain. So let's start with this Parse, and then I'll play Grave Warden first. I'll play a Soul here. If I play this Soul, it's free, but we are losing out on a lot of card draw. That said, I think what I'm going to do actually is I'll go Grave Warden, I'll play this Soul, and then I'll search up Borrowed Time, and that gives me enough energy that I can just play Domain. Since the enemy is not attacking this turn, that's plenty. We also get Ascender's Bane out of the deck, which is nice as well. A lot of really interesting setups for this deck currently. I'd like Borrowed Time. I have Parse already. And then I will Seance, removing a Defend. Play Grave Warden, play Borrowed Time, play Grave Warden, play a Soul. Actually, I should have Unleashed here first. And then... Alright, I had to cut the recording again, but I'm back. Apologies if any of these cuts are jarring. I am fairly sick today as I'm recording, so I'm having to stop pretty frequently just to rest my voice. So, appreciate your understanding. Let's go ahead and play a Soul here, and we'll see if we can draw into some more stuff. What's in my deck? We've got Scourge and Defend still in. I'll play this, and we'll trigger a Reshuffle, which should let me get Borrowed Time back. Which of course I'm going to go ahead and do. I could Seance one of these cards, but probably Unleash I still want. I could play this Defend in order to get it reshuffled back into the deck, and then potentially Seance. Because right now I have 4 card draw in hand, plus Parse. So yeah, let's play the Defend and the other Defend, and then I'm going to try to Seance at least one of those out of the deck. And then we'll play a Soul. I'll play Grave Warden. I'll play Scourge on this enemy. I'll play Grave Warden. I'll play a Soul. And then we'll redraw into this Borrowed Time. Then I can Seance Defend out. Play Borrowed Time. Play Grave Warden. Play a Soul here. And... I could Unleash, just killing this Axe Bot again. That seems probably just worth doing. That'll just speed up the encounter a little bit. And then I can go ahead and play a Grave Warden. And we'll trigger a Reshuffle here. I will let Parse disintegrate because Scourge is good enough. Also, we have 81 blocks, so we weren't in any particular danger of dying there. 2 souls in hand, so let's go ahead and pick up this Borrowed Time. My Defend got redrawn. I guess I'll Seance the Dirge out of the deck. Play Borrowed Time. Play Grave Warden. I'll play Bodyguard as well. To redraw into a more powerful Unleash if possible. And then this Unleash, I'll kill this enemy. So that as I start getting more damage on the other enemies, we can maybe just win this turn. I have 24 Doom and 48 health, so I can play Borrowed Time a bunch more times, and it's totally fine. Let's go ahead and play our Scourge here. I'll play Soul. And then, have I removed enough cards from the deck that we have True Infinite? I think I need to remove one more. So, let's go ahead and play the Defend here to try to do that. We'll play Borrowed Time, play Grave Warden, we'll play this Soul, and then I can play Bodyguard, Unleash for enough damage that this one will die this turn, and then I'll go ahead and Scourge the other one. Let's go ahead and play a Soul here, redrawing into Borrowed Time, play the Soul, still have the second Grave Warden in the deck, which I can Seance out, so we'll just get rid of that one. Play Grave Warden here. And I believe I now have achieved a full infinite loop, because I can draw every card in the deck with my souls, and then just replay Grave Warden, Borrowed Time, and Scourge over and over again. That being said, we can win the fight just by playing Unleash, but it's kind of fun that we were able to actually set up the full infinite loop there. Here, Dredge is kind of interesting. It exhausts itself. I could redraw some of my, I could use it to play 2 Borrowed Times in a turn on the first turn of combat, but I think I'm just going to skip here. I'll go here, and then do I want 5 more health to give myself just a little bit more room to put Doom on myself, or I could upgrade a card. I could upgrade Dirge, which is going to be a pretty solid card to upgrade. I think overall, though, just gaining the extra health and giving myself just a little bit more room in case things go wrong. I guess it's only 3 health, actually, because I have the blood vial. And then we gain 2 more in the second boss as well. So yeah, I should definitely have upgraded, actually. And liquid bronze, I think, is worse than either of the 2 potions that I have. Let's go ahead and we will fight this test subject. Now, this test subject is the dangerous one. It has the most damage because it will continuously gain strength whenever we play a skill. And obviously on this character, we're going to be playing a lot of skills. Also, yes, if you were wondering there, I did cut at the beginning of this fight. Don't worry, this is still the first time I've tried the fight. Let's go with 22 more damage coming, or we have 22 damage coming in. We can block with Grave Warden, so I think this turn, it will go up to 28, and we'll have 28 block, so I guess we'll just play Defend, Defend, Domain. Now, obviously, this is a little bit bad because we've given the enemy 6 strength already, but better than trying to, and we're going to etherealize our parse, which I'm not thrilled by, but I think overall it's better to do that than to, and get Domain set up on a turn when it's relatively free, than to try to mess around with other types of block. Now, something I'm actually not sure of is whether Dirge will trigger, because Dirge is a skill, whether playing Dirge X times will trigger the test subject buff multiple times over. I'm genuinely not sure how that is going to work. I will do some science on that. So let's go ahead and play, because we kind of have to, otherwise I'm taking a big hit this turn. So I'm going to play all of these, and I'll play the Dirge here. Looks like it only triggers once. So while I am going to take some damage, we're still okay. And then we can block all of the incoming damage with the weakness potion. I didn't think it would buff it 6 times when I used 6 Dirges there, but I genuinely wasn't sure. And obviously the game is still somewhat new, so I'm not going to always understand the mechanics right away. All right, so 41 incoming damage this turn. And this is where things are definitely getting a little bit scary. I can play a bunch of powers. So Fetch, Neurosurge, Devour Life, and Haunt. These are not skills, which is important. I could Putrefy to get the enemy vulnerable, and we only have 3 health on Asti is the other thing. Because I was kind of hoping that I could do a big Unleash to win this fight. Let's start with Neurosurge. I'm certainly always going to be playing that. And then I'm going to play... Oh, maybe I was supposed to play Grave Warden first. Yeah, I definitely was. I'll play Grave Warden. I'll play Fetch. Then I am going to play the Devour Life and the Haunt. And then I'll play a Soul. We're going to stack a lot of strength on this enemy, but there's not much that I can do about that. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. I do need to keep the Scourge and the Borrowed Time both in the deck. So Seance, we don't need to use currently. I do want Stratagem. I think I want Putrefy to make my Unleash better as well. So let's play a couple Souls. I'll play Stratagem. Definitely want to get that set up. I'll play Putrefy. I definitely want to get that set up to make my Unleash better. And I'll play this Soul, going down to 0 cards in deck currently, and we'll play Borrowed Time. And then I'm going to play the Unleash, I think. Play a Soul here. We will redraw into Borrowed Time. Play Grave Warden, Borrowed Time again. Play Bodyguard. Is there anything I want to Seance? Yes, I want to Seance this Defend, because I really need to keep drawing into these Unleashes. So that I can kill the enemy relatively quickly here. So I drew... I still have 2 cards I can redraw. I will play the Grave Warden first, I think. To redraw into more souls for the next shuffle. Because I have to kill it on this shuffle, or on this round, otherwise I die. Let's play a soul here. Play Unleash for 31 damage. And then I will play another soul. And, okay, I did manage to get it dead on this round. I've only put 6 Doom on myself as well. So let's go ahead and put Borrowed Time in hand, I suppose. And we'll go ahead and play the Unleash, killing the enemy. I'll play Grave Warden. Now, do I want to keep Seance in the deck? Because I could let it disintegrate here, or I could play it. I could play Borrowed Time into Dirge, for example, as well. I think I do want to keep the Seance in the deck, because I have a lot of defense and like this fetch and stuff that I still want to remove. So I'm going to play Borrowed Time. I'm going to play the Dirge, just to set myself up a little better for future turns. And then I'll sacrifice one of the unupgraded souls here, just to keep Seance live in the deck for the next stage of the boss. So this enemy will put wounds into my deck if I take damage from it, so I do need to be careful about that as well. But let's start with Grave Warden, which shuffles a soul in. I will then play a soul, I guess. And we'll get Borrowed Time back. Play Borrowed Time. I can play a Scourge on the enemy, or I can just play another soul. Maybe I'm supposed to just play Bodyguard Unleash just to try to win this fight this turn as well. We can spin through those a bunch of times. So then I'll play a soul here, and we have some defense still in the deck, so I can start removing those. Play a Grave Warden, play a soul. Guess I'll play one more Grave Warden. I want to manage my energy, though, because I need to play Bodyguard Unleash a few times. And I don't have to win on this shuffle against this enemy, though. So that's something that I have a slightly easier time with. And we'll play the Borrowed Time. And I can Seance one of the Grave Wardens out of the deck if I want to. That seems fine, actually. I don't need both of them. And then I'll go with a Scourge. I'm looking for Unleash and Bodyguard. So I'll play Bodyguard. I'll play another Grave Warden. I'll play Unleash. And then I'll play a soul. And then I can Borrowed Time again. And we'll go Bodyguard, Unleash, Borrowed Time. And I could put Defend and Fetch back in the deck so that we can try to remove them with my Seance, which I can do by playing a soul here. I'll play a Grave Warden, play another soul for the reshuffle, and we'll get Borrowed Time back. Play the Borrowed Time, play the Seance, removing Fetch from the deck. And then here, the enemy will die if I just put Scourge on it, because it's going to take 9 damage and then Scourge will get it. So let's go Scourge and Grave Warden. And then it'll die at the end of its turn. And then here, I guess it doesn't really matter what I do this turn, right? I can just play Bodyguard and try to loop Bodyguard a bunch. I can get rid of the last Defend and make my deck perfect for comboing down the boss here. And then I guess I'll play a Grave Warden as well. I could try to loop Bodyguard, but it does cost me removing cards from the deck. So I think we're just holding this turn. And then this turn, I am running a little bit low on health to health pool for the Doom, so I do need to be aware of that. But I can definitely play one Borrowed Time. I can play a soul here. I can search up my Scourge, and then I'll play Scourge. I'll play Grave Warden. I'm gonna loop Grave Warden a few times. Basically because I want to allow my Asti to get as big as possible. I need to avoid Asti taking damage. And let's search for Grave Warden now. And then we'll go for a really big Unleash turn next turn to just triple loop Unleash and kill the enemy. So that's Scourge and a soul. I guess I want to keep Scourge in the deck probably. So I don't need the Seance. I'm going to pass on playing Borrowed Time this turn, so we'll just go with this, and then we'll get the Bodyguard back. Play Bodyguard, play Grave Warden. Now I have enough block, and then I'll play one more soul here so that I can replay Bodyguard at least. And there's some more stuff that I could do this turn, but basically, because the enemy's intangible this turn, I just wanted to set up my deck as strong as possible for a bunch of Unleash loops on the next round. So this turn, I can now search for Unleash, because we got the reshuffle. And then I will play Bodyguard into Unleash, into Grave Warden, into Soul, Borrowed Time to be able to reshuffle. Search for Unleash. Having to drink some water here. Again, apologies. Let's go with a Borrowed Time. Yeah, I have plenty of health to make this work. We'll play the Soul here, and we'll pick up the Unleash, play Bodyguard, and Unleash. And that is just a combo kill on the test subject, so very clean kill there as well. And as we go into the second boss fight, let's, of course, we're fighting the Queen. I think overall, this is the hardest boss in the game right now. The Queen has a lot of things that make it particularly dangerous, but mostly the debuffs that you're going to get are really bad. We're definitely going to set up Domain, but I'll start with Borrowed Time and Scourge on the Torch Head. And then we did draw into a block spell, so that's really nice. So I can go Grave Warden, I can play Domain, I can play Bodyguard, and I could play the Stable Serum to retain my hand if I want to have a defend for next turn. I don't hate retaining my hand against the Queen. So I am going to play that because the Queen makes your first 3 cards that you draw each turn bound. And what that means is that you can only play one of them, even if you play it and then redraw it later in the turn. So for these combo decks, it can be somewhat difficult. Retaining our hand can be a way around this penalty that makes it a little bit easier to play all of these cards. So let's go ahead and play our Neurosurge first, drawing into a card, and then I'm going to Seance, and I'll just Seance the Daze out of the deck, I think. Just, even though that's going to go away on its own, this fight will probably go long enough that we end up Seancing everything anyways. Here, I guess I'll commit to not playing Dirge this turn. It's because I'm going to play Haunt instead, just get that power set up, and now I can no longer play Dirge. Obviously, we couldn't play Ascender's Bane anyways, but I might as well play that if I'm going to play a Soul. So I'll do that. I'll play a Grave Warden here. I'll play a Soul. I'll fetch on the Torch Head. I'm going to set up Devour Life. I'll play the Parse here. I'm going to Putrefy the Torch Head, play Friendship. I think I do want to shuffle Unleash back in, so I'll just play the Unleash as well, and then I'll play another Soul. And then we did draw into Borrowed Time, so I'm going to play the Borrowed Time. I'm going to play Stratagem, drawing into 2 more cards. We'll play Grave Warden, play Scourge, putting some more doom on this enemy. I did redraw into Fetch here, which I'll shuffle back in case I can Seance it. And then I'll play this Soul here. Now, I don't want to reduce my deck to so few cards that they all end up bound. So I need to keep at least some cards in the deck that will be able to play each turn, rather than letting my most important cards get bound every turn. But we do need to remove at least some cards from the deck. And then I think I can... Do I want to let Parse disintegrate to play a Bodyguard? I think I want to keep Parse in the deck. And then this actually lets me do a reshuffle if I want to play the Soul. So I could do that, play Borrowed Time, and get some more card plays. So we'll search for Borrowed Time. I can play the Seance, and we can get rid of Fetch here. And then I can Borrowed Time, and then nothing else that I really want to remove, so I'll just play Bodyguard and Unleash. I do want to play Bodyguard, at least on some of these rotations, in order to make it more likely that we can get some really powerful Unleash turns later on. So here I'm going to search for Borrowed Time, and my bound cards this turn are Parse, Grave Warden, and Soul. So that means that the Parse is probably getting Etherealized this turn. but that's kind of fine. We'll play the Borrowed Time, play the Grave Warden, and I can play Soul here. I can play Scourge. I guess I'll just play a Soul here, a Bound Soul. And then I have Bodyguard Unleash still in the deck, so I definitely don't want to Seance this turn. I'll play some Defends to shuffle them back in after I use the Soul, and then I'll be able to definitely get rid of at least one Defend with Seance. So I'll Seance one of our Defends here. Play Borrowed Time. I'll play a Grave Warden. I'll play Bodyguard and Unleash for more damage on the Torch Head. And I'll play a Scourge also on the Torch Head. Play a Soul here, and we'll search up Borrowed Time. I have 18 Doom and 53 health, so we're fine in that respect. We'll play the Borrowed Time, play the Grave Warden, and I'll play a Soul here. I still have Bodyguard, Unleash, Scourge in the deck, so I could play a couple Defends in order to shuffle those back in, if I wanted to, and potentially Seance them out. So let's do that. It does cost me some energy, but we're just killing the Torch Head this turn regardless. And then I'll play that. I'll play Scourge on this enemy here, and then we'll search up Borrowed Time. And, oh no, okay. So I didn't manage to redraw, or I didn't manage to leave the Defends in the deck. So that's definitely a downside. I also, I put Vulnerable on the Torch Head, but I'm now kind of thinking maybe I was supposed to save it for the Queen to make my Unleash damage on the Queen higher. This enemy's going to die this turn, though, so I could Unleash for 37 on the Queen. I could also just play a Dirge. I think I'm going to play a Dirge, because I want to add more cards to the deck, so that when we... Oh, actually, I want to play a Dirge so that I can play Ethereal without losing a Grave Warden. And then we lose Parse, which is fine. And then I'm going to search for Borrowed Time. And we have Seance as our bound spell. Seance, Grave Warden, and Soul. That's totally okay. So let's go with a Bodyguard. We'll play Borrowed Time for sure. One of the nice things, too, is because I have Stratagem, we get to search for our, which is, I don't even know which one it is, this symbol. We get to search for our Borrowed Time, so it never ends up as one of our bound spells, which is pretty helpful. I think I'm okay. We have a second Grave Warden in the deck, so no, if I Seance, I'm gonna stall out, right? Because I won't be able to play... I can draw into a Grave Warden, but I won't have any card draw. So I think I need to play Scourge now. And then we will need to be able to use this Soul. So I'll Grave Warden, and I'll play this Soul here. And then I've got Defend in the deck, but I can't Seance it, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and play Unleash. And then I'm going to play this Soul here. Trying to redraw into Scourge. I have one too few Souls. So I could play Dirge. I would go down to 0 energy if I play Dirge, but then we could redraw into Borrowed Time. So I guess that's better. So we'll play Dirge, put a bunch of Souls in the deck. We'll play this Soul. We'll play another one. I'll play another one. And then I can search up Borrowed Time here. I can play the Borrowed Time. And then I can play another Soul. I guess I should loop Unleash as well. So I'll play the Unleash. I will play the Grave Warden, putting another Soul in. Play another Soul. And then I will play another one, which is going to set up a loop. We can play Borrowed Time. And now I have the Infinite, because I can go Grave Warden, Scourge, and Soul every turn, if I want to. If I try to work Unleash into that loop, it does cut off the Infinite loop, but it might end up with a faster kill. Let's start with the Grave Warden here, and we can go Scourge. And we put Borrowed Time in hand, we play Borrowed Time. And then you can see how the Infinite loop works, right? We get to keep putting Souls back in the deck with Grave Warden, redrawing the Soul with Scourge. Now that said, I think I want to play an Unleash here, and I am only taking 30 damage, so it's not the end of the world. I'll play a Grave Warden, I'll play a Soul here and get Borrowed Time back. Play the Borrowed Time again. If I want to play Unleash again, I won't be able to keep looping, but I have 42 Doom, so I don't want to play Borrowed Time too many more times. So let's go ahead and I'll just play the Soul here. Play Unleash. Play Grave Warden. Borrowed Time. Scourge. Get Borrowed Time back. Play Borrowed Time. Play a Soul. Get Borrowed Time back. Oh no, no, that's fine. It doesn't matter what I search for there. Because I can play Unleash. And then I can redraw into Unleash, and we've comboed the queen out in one turn. So there we go. So that is the Necrobinder. You can see just how cool the infinites and pseudo-infinites that this character gets are. We had some tighter calls in the endgame than I honestly expected, given how good our start was. So probably some room for improvement there in how I played the mid-game. And there's a couple cards that maybe I would change out, depending on, as I get more and more experience. But as you can see, the Necrobinder can build these really intricate combo engines that let you just one turn kill a bunch of bosses. And that's how you can beat Ascension 10 with it. So there we go. We got the win on Ascension 10 with the Necrobinder. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope you find it helpful. As always, of course, if you have enjoyed the video, then feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Slay the Spire 2 and other strategy game analysis. And now, I'm gonna go rest. So thanks for watching, friends. I'll catch you next time.